WTOP.
And a very good evening to you on WTOP's Hockey Night in Oswego as the 7-10-7 Fredonia Blue Devils come in and face your 14-9-1 Oswego State Lakers. I'm Ben Kinney alongside Nick Ketter and Zach Case on this very special night. It's the final regular season home game for the Oswego State Lakers before playoffs, and that means it's senior night. And this year, Oswego has 13 members that are going to be graduating in the spring. Nick, you caught up with a few of the seniors on this Oswego team.
I did, and tonight's matchup is a little extra special for these 13 members of the Lakers team. As you said, it's senior night, and I caught up with them to find out their thoughts.
Tonight's game will be a special one for Oswego State men's hockey. The Lakers will celebrate senior night against Fredonia. This is a memorable time for the team, but they will also try to use the game as a boost of momentum heading into the playoffs.
We have our four captains, but all 13 guys that are graduating this year, they lead in some way or form, and we're going to rely on them heavily to have success here in the stretch run because it's their last shot, and I know it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to our underclassmen to play a little extra harder knowing that.
All 13 seniors are looking forward to the matchup and looking back at their careers. 3 of them, all captains, sat down to reflect and thank the community.
This is a place I'll remember forever. The people around here are amazing. Fans, boosters, coaches, trainers, it doesn't really matter. I think we're really fortunate, Division III program, how we get treated. I went through a couple of tough things last year in my life personally, and I think if I didn't have these people around me, it'd be even tougher. So I'm pretty fortunate, and I think that's what makes coming to the rink every day enjoyable.
Had a lot of ups and downs here, but just to be part of this family and this group, it's something special, and not to mention the support we get from the community and everything like that. It's pretty fun to be a part of.
A huge thank you. It's so simple, but it means so much to us. Even in the tough times, the good times, we always have the fans in the stands. The community's always behind us, doing anything they can for us. And we like to try to give back as much as we can, but I don't think we could ever repay them for what they've done for us. And it's a great feeling. You feel so loved out there, and it's awesome. So yeah, thank you so much.
Seniors will look to feed off crowd noise tonight and that community support for one of the last times in the green and gold.
Awesome job, Nick. Now, let's take a look at the seniors tonight that are going to be graduating in the spring. First one we're going to be taking a look at, Anthony Pissarro, Mitch Emerson, David Richer, Tyler Curry, Chris McMillan, Joey Scorpio, Charlie Pelnick, Josh Zizek, Joseph Molinaro, Derek Brown, Cedric Hansen, Michael Gillespie, and Jody Sullivan. All of these members that are seniors have made a big impact on this Oswego team, not just this season, but in previous seasons.
Yeah, the fact that they definitely been the leadership force for this team, having that many seniors, even if they don't wear a letter on their jersey, they're still a leader in the locker room and out on the ice. So you're definitely going to see a big loss in that leadership moving forward into next season, but they're definitely going to be able to pick that up.
And let's segue into that. We have 13 seniors graduating here, so obviously that's going to be a big hit. 13 players, many of whom are starting tonight, all of whom are starting tonight. What does this mean going forward? Will next season be a rebuilding year of sorts for the Lakers, or will we still be a playoff contender for the SUNYAC next season and for years to come?
Well, I'm definitely going to look at the fact that we thought we had a question mark in net, especially in the second half of this season, but Steven Kozakowski will still be around next year. No question in net do we have a problem there. But I look at some of the commits that's already been coming out for Oswego. Got Connor Smart, a two-way forward out of Canada, along with Tristan Francis, also out of Canada. That's a defenseman. And then you have your own hometown kid from Syracuse, Ryan Eclase, from Syracuse, New York. He played for the Syracuse Cougars high school team back in 2018, 2019. So I think there's a bright future ahead for these Lakers. No problem in the fact that you're losing multiple individuals that are key to this game team, but I think we're going to be fine moving forward in the next season.
And you look at what do we need to add on going forward. We need offensive depth. We need defensive as well, right, Zach?
Yeah, definitely the fact that you're losing 8 forwards going into next season. The but the fact that we already have Travis Broman, Alex DiCarlo, individuals that already step up as an underclassman already. So moving forward, while they are upperclassmen next season, I think we're going to be fine on the offensive side as well as the defensive side.
Now, tonight, last night, big game against Buffalo State. We have David Richer returning tonight, and we're going to be taking a look at the SUNYAC here coming up after this break. You're watching Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP. And welcome back to Hockey Night in Oswego here on WTOP. Ben Kinney alongside Nick Petter, Zach Case. Now, last night, these Lakers were back in action here at the Wheelhouse, and that was a big win for the Lakers, 3-2 over Buffalo. Guys, what did you think about that win last night?
Yeah, the SUNYAC win with 40 shots compared to 28. Oswego really dominated the Bengals all night long. You see power play efficiency 0-2 for the Bengals. Lakers did a good job on the penalty kill. There were a few penalties, but when they did come, they did a great job. And then moving on to face-off, 26-18 for the Lakers. Possession in the face-off circle brings on that possession in the other zones. They did a great job all night long.
Now, what do you guys think worked last night for the Lakers? Nick, you first.
Well, I thought the Lakers had great puck possession. Their transition game was awesome. It was great. They played two ways really well, turning defense into offense. They had great passing. It was very crisp and clean. And Steven Kozakowski, he was very good in net. He allowed 2 goals later in the game, but when the Lakers needed him most, he came up with those big saves.
Now, yeah, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, back to Steven Kozakowski. I thought the defense in general did a great job. The fact that when they did get hemmed in the zone, the Bengals worked the puck around, but Oswego stick to their D-zone structure, and they got rush opportunities that led into 2 out of those 3 goals coming on the rush there for the Lakers.
Now, let's take a look at those 3 goals from last night. Guys, walk me through these.
Yeah, off the first one, Molinaro gets a puck right from Matt Lewis, moves it right to Jody Sullivan for the first goal. That came in the first period, and then on to the second. Broman does a great job of getting the puck down low, wraparound opportunity for the finish. He did a great job all night long, and then Nick on to the third goal.
Well, Alex DiCarlo going down the slot. What just a snipe of a shot over the shoulder of the goalie. Alex DiCarlo has been there for the Lakers all year long. He's been a freshman sensation. He had scored up to that game. He had 5 points in every single game leading up to that game.
Now, even though it was a win last night, there are always things to be improved on. What do you guys think the Lakers need to improve on tonight?
I definitely want to work on the fact that you can't go to the power play, especially moving on after this game. You have a semifinals matchup and hopefully a finals matchup in Geneseo that you cannot let any power play in the playoffs get chances. The fact that they did limit the penalty kills last night did a great job. The fact that you still can't let them get out of the ice, I think the Lakers need to work on that.
I think the Lakers also, they allowed late goals in this game. They had this one through the first 2 periods, and they allowed Buff State to get back into this game with just kind of a lack of discipline. As Zach said, 21 minutes in penalties in the 3rd period. They had no penalties in the 1st and 2nd period. You have to stay disciplined, especially against a scrappy team tonight like Fredonia.
Now, one thing we are seeing tonight is David Richer back in goal. Richer, of course, a senior. Now, he's back in, senior night, seems fitting. Let's go back to when he was a sophomore, because this kind of goes full circle when you look at it. Being replaced this season by none other than Steven Kozakowski, who's a sophomore.
Yeah, the sophomore stepped in mid-season, talking about Steven Kozakowski, but David Richer started originally for the Lakers at the beginning of the year. And you look full circle that thing that Steven Kozakowski will definitely play in the playoff games coming up. So this is probably David Richer's last time starting for the Lakers. The fact that he definitely didn't have any improvement in his game off the bat there, and then Kozakowski coming right off the bench did a great job.
Well, Richer had kind of an inconsistent season this year at 8-6. He's coming off a shutout against Morrisville, so that was good for him. He's running about a .910 save percentage, but with 324 saves. But what has allowed Steven Kozakowski to kind of take the helm is his inconsistency in the net. We've seen games where the defense kind of let him hang, and it just wasn't good for him in those games.
Now let's take a look at the comparison of the 3 goalies for these Lakers. What do you guys see with these 3?
Well, I definitely see the fact that Cedric Hansen is kind of the odd man out, especially goals against average and save percentage. You see David Roche 0.91 compared to the 0.927 for Steven Kozakowski. Definitely the better goalie going into the playoffs here for the Lakers. But Cedric Hansen coming off a game against Elmira back in January. He'll play in his first game, hopefully maybe later on in tonight's game.
Absolutely. Now let's take a look at the SUNYAC standings. Here we had a few games played. We'll get into those in a little bit. But for now, that red line indicates where the playoff cutoff is. And look at who's right below that. Fredonia.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that Geneseo, Oswego, Brockport, Buffalo State all locked in to the playoffs right now. But Fredonia, big win yesterday in Cortland. That allowed them to stay involved in these SUNYAC standings because they were currently the 9th seed. So moving on now, this is a big game for Fredonia if you want to get into the SUNYAC playoffs.
Oh, you see, yeah, and Oswego, this may not be a pressure situation for them. They're already kind of locked into that 2 spot with 23 points, but they've got to watch out in this game. You want to get a win on senior night tonight, you have to watch out for Fredonia. As you said, there's that red line there. Fredonia finds themselves just on the other end, and they're going to do everything they can to win. They are 4-8-3 in this year. They've tied 7 times this season, so you know they're kind of a team that can take you into overtime, can get through that extra period, and you know they can really tire you out and wear you out.
All right, let's take a look at those scores from around the SUNYAC today. We had a few games that have been played, a few games that will be played. Right now, Cortland Buffalo State tied at 1. Now, what do these games mean?
Well, definitely the fact that Plattsburgh, Morrisville, if they win tonight, they'll make it into the SUNYAC, which they already are. Geneseo, Brockport, that's a big game for Buffalo State in the fact that if Buffalo wins and Brockport loses, Buffalo State will be the 3rd seed, and they'll make their trek back to the Verano Campus Center next Saturday. And then you see, of course, we have Oswego, Fredonia going on tonight. But definitely the fact that there could be some movement in the bottoms, and then the 3rd and the 4th seed could definitely change tonight.
Which that could have implications on us going forward with the 2 seed next week. When we return, we're going to be taking a look at the players to watch, and these guys will give us the game predictions. You're watching Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP. And welcome back into Hockey Night in Oswego here on WTOP. Ben Kinney alongside Nick Ketter and Zach Case. The Fredonia Blue Devils taking on the Oswego State Lakers tonight. Let's start with you, Nick. Who are your players to watch?
Well, my players to watch in this one, first for Fredonia, it's number 19, Victor Tracy, the forward. He's a junior. He's had at least 1 point in the last 3 matchups against the Lakers. He's definitely going to look to be one of the top scorers tonight for the Fredonia Blue Devils, and scoring is going to be key for the Fredonia Blue Devils in this game to hang in there with the Lakers.
Now, who's your player to watch for Oswego?
Well, my player to watch for the Lakers is none other than senior captain Anthony Pissarro. 1 goal and 2 assists for Fredonia this year. He is one of the top scorers on this Lakers team. He's picked up 20 assists for the Lakers, and that has been huge. Working on a line alongside Alex DiCarlo, he's on the first line tonight.
And, of course, you got the head cutout of none other than Anthony Pissarro. Now, Zach, who are your players to watch tonight?
Well, I'm going to head back over to the Fredonia Blue Devils. I got Jacob Haynes, number 6, 34 points in 23 games played, 14 goals and 20 assists. You see 181 points over his career. The senior is definitely going to be a big factor in tonight's game for the Blue Devils.
Now, Zach, your player to watch for Oswego?
All right, I'm going to go with the senior, Jody Sullivan, 10 points in 24 games played. He had 1 goal in last night's contest against Buffalo State. He's going to have a big night tonight. I think he's going to be really pumped up for his senior night debut.
Absolutely, and you got your head cut out too, Jody Sullivan. Now, what are your predictions for tonight?
Well, I think this game is going to go in Oswego's favor. Last night was close. I think tonight will be close. 4-2, Oswego in this one.
You think 4-2?
4-2. I'm going with it.
Okay. What do you think, Zach?
I'm going to go with 6-2 in favor of Oswego. I think we're going to have some high-power offense, but Blue Devils will get on the board eventually, but I got a 6-2 victory for the Lakers.
A little bit different there. A little bit different for the 6-2. What makes you think 4-2 for you?
Well, the Lakers were able to score early, and I think that's going to depend on where they are later in the game. They didn't do a ton of scoring late against Buff State. I think that's going to be similar to today. They kind of, when they play back-to-back, have similar types of games. I think 4-2 is right about where it will be tonight.
All right, and what's your thinking?
Well, I'm definitely talking about the fact that you're going to have some seniors that are definitely going to want to get on the scoreboard tonight. And then you also have, of course, we talked about Alex DiCarlo, Travis Broman. There's definitely going to be some players definitely want to get on the scoreboard in the last regular season home game for the Lakers.
Absolutely. All right. When we return, we're going to be setting it up to Matt Watling and Luke Owens in the Steve Levy press box. We'll see you at intermission here on WTOP's Hockey Night in Oswego.
Matt Watling joined alongside Luke Owens for senior night as the Oswego State Lakers take on the Fredonia Blue Devils. And Luke, Fredonia started off a little slow to start the season, hadn't won a SUNYAC game in their first 6, but what have you seen from them lately?
Yeah, this is a Blue Devils team. They started off the season 0-5-1 in the SUNYAC. They've really picked up their play a lot recently, and that has to do with their offense ramping up production. Also, in goal, Anton Rosen has been spectacular for them. He struggled the first meeting against the Lakers, so we'll see if he can pick up his play. But either way, this is a Blue Devils team that is playing their best hockey at the exact right time.
And for the Lakers, they're playing some great hockey as well, coming off a win last night against Buffalo State. Really a couple game winning streaks going back to that Geneseo game in which they ended up losing, but what have you seen from them as well?
Yeah, the Lakers really doing a good job. As you mentioned, that 3-game win streak they bring into tonight. 2 wins against Morrisville and then 1 against Buff State last night.
And then despite that, the Blue Devils still alive, have a chance to make the playoffs if they can win tonight. And what are some of their keys to the game?
Yeah, for Fredonia, the first key is more of a statement. They control their own destiny. It's simple. You win and you're in. You lose, you go home if you're the Blue Devils. So there's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot of scenarios in the SUNYAC, but for Fredonia, it's pretty straightforward. Second, they have to avoid a slow start. They trailed 4-2 after 2 periods the last time these two teams met. They've got to pick it up early on in this game. You want to see your playmakers make big plays. And speaking of big playmakers, Haynes for Fredonia, 34 points in 23 games. That's 3rd in the SUNYAC. And Matt, you say 3rd in the SUNYAC, he's only behind Romano and Keenan from that electric Geneseo offense. Both of those guys are top 10 scorers in the nation. So if Haynes can get going early for this Fredonia team, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and then you look at Oswego State, what do they need to do well tonight?
Well, we kind of touched on it in the open. You've got to keep that momentum going. This is when you want to play your best hockey, and for the Lakers, they have been. 3 wins in a row. They played Geneseo tight. They're looking really strong right now. Keep that momentum going, especially offensively. And of course, Matt, it's senior night. You have to lean on your seniors. I'm so excited to watch David Riche in net. Cedric Hansen maybe will get some playing time as well. And for the offense, look through a guy like Anthony Facero and Josh Zizek, seniors that have their fingerprints, all over this Oswego State scoring offense. And third, you got to play a full 60 minutes. They almost lost that game last night in the 3rd period against Buffalo State. And I mentioned how they kind of let it slip the first meeting against Fredonia. They've got to play a full 60 minutes of hockey, as Coach Gosick and Coach Whitelaw have said all year long.
Right, and today is also the 40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice, when the United States 1980 U.S. Olympic team ended up defeating the Soviet-Russian Red Army by a score of 4-3. And Luke, just a legendary game and some great kind of storylines and players come out of that.
Yeah, a game that took place 40 years ago, and it's still relevant in today's society. And you talk about it not only from a player standpoint, one of the most legendary broadcasts of all times. Al Michaels on that call was obviously incredible, and that's a U.S. team that was outshot. They lost in the face-off circle. They were able to come out with a win against a superior team in the USSR.
Right, and that's all the time we've got. But speaking of miracles, Fredonia could use a miracle to beat Oswego State tonight and make it to the SUNYAC playoffs. Don't go anywhere though. You're watching Senior Night. Puck Drop is next on Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP 10. Welcome back inside the Murano Campus Center Ice Arena. Puck Drop just seconds from underway. Matt Watling joined alongside Luke Owens as we see the ceremonial puck drop in the right portion of the screen. Now here on the main, it's Charlie Manley and Josh Zizek, the 2 captains for both sides, taking the draw as, of course, they're commemorating the 1980 Miracle on Ice from 40 years ago to the day.
Yeah, you can kind of bring all the fans together for that when you saw everyone cheering. Of course, the U.S. came away in that one. But in just a few moments, the two teams maybe not going to be as friendly because there's a lot on the line for Fredonia tonight. Of course, a win clinches them a spot in the SUNYAC playoffs. And for Oswego State, you want to end on a high night, and you look at the man, of course, in between the pipes tonight, David Riche. You know he wants to go out on top here.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's played so much. He loves playing the game. I'll never forget, he was talking to us, I believe it was last year, earlier this semester, and we were talking about how hard it was for him to redshirt his freshman year, lost that year of eligibility due to playing some major junior hockey, and he said it was really tough on him. He said he almost quit the game of hockey, having to sit out that entire year, but he wouldn't do it any other way. And yeah, Luke, you were telling me before the game, when if they go to try to pull Riche, you might see a little tears coming from his eyes as they would presumably put Hansen in net for half the game as well.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it earlier. I wondered if they would start Hansen and let Riche finish the game, but when I think about it, I think that Coach Gosek wants David Riche to kind of get his standing ovation, maybe hear one more Riche chant from this crowd at MCC, and of course in the opposite net, Anton Rosen is going to have a little bit of a better game this time around against the Lakers.
Yeah, last time he gave up 4 goals in just about 40 minutes of play. As puck drop is underway here in the Oswego State end, Antonucci picking up, looking to find his way over for Mitch Emerson as he crosses into the neutral zone. Battling hard on him is SUNY Fredonia's Bryce Whitman, and he'll fire it in as Riche touches the puck behind his net. Leaving it for Antonucci now, drops it off for Novick. The two of those guys have played a pretty good pair so far over the last 2 weekends or so for the Oswego State Lakers, as they're the top unit so far.
Yeah, they have. And Victor Tracy, the forward for Fredonia, just first impression, 6'3", 215. He looks like a guy that can really command. So that Oswego State defense going to have to figure out how to defend a guy that's bigger than a lot of their defensemen.
And Riche there went out to play the puck, lost control of it, and forced Antonucci to control it and just fire it down the length of the ice for an icing here. So 19-11 left to go here in the first period. A shift or two under their belt so far, and what are your initial reactions?
Fredonia's come out, and they have a lot to play for, and you can really tell they've brought the energy and now a face-off. They've controlled offensive zone time. It's only 50 seconds in, but I really like the way Fredonia's come out. If you're Oswego State, you got to channel your emotions in the right way. Of course, a very emotional night with it being senior night.
An important draw there, won by the Lakers, but they are able to escape the zone and force Fredonia offside. And now Lakers will get out their top unit second line of Josh Zizek, Travis Broman, and Michael Gillespie, a line that's been really dynamic for the last several games. You see Zizek and Broman, the chemistry they've developed over the last really quarter of a season. You saw it really for most of Broman's, the rest of the initial part of his career, he played a lot of time with Anthony Pissarro.
Yeah, and this is the line that I really circled tonight. Of course, 2 seniors in Zizek and Gillespie, and then Travis Broman, who had a heck of a wraparound goal last night against Buffalo State.
Yeah, beautiful goal by Broman as the Lakers again try to clear, hemmed in their own zone by Fredonia. Coming into the weekend, they were 9th in the SUNYAC, but now sit just a win away from a playoff berth due to the Blue Devils as Anton Rosen comes out to play the puck. Fredonia with it now here as they escape and enter the red line. Battling up by Zizek was Buffalo State's Karikin Barley, and now Carter Allen has it in his own zone. Drops it off for Broman as he enters the neutral zone and gets over for Zizek to chip it in and let that heavy forecheck go to work on Anders Johnson, the freshman defender for Fredonia.
Yeah, Oswego State, not a lot of good offensive possessions so far. You saw Josh Zizek trying to carry in there, but a good forecheck being applied here by the Blue Devils.
And they win the puck there, back out in front for a chance. And the forward barrels into Riche. He seems to be okay as it gets back out to the center ice. Fredonia will dump it back in. Riche back to his feet with a bit of ease as Vance tries to play it behind his own net. Can't quite corral that as Carter Allen tries to steer it along to the far side for Jody Sullivan. Trying to chip it out of his zone and does so. Gets the stick of Molinaro one-on-one. Molinaro trying to make a move to the backhand on Manley. He'll play it behind the net and try to get some cycle game going. Back for Curry. Shot saved by Rosen. Rebound a stretch too far for Mac Lewis, who made his Oswego State debut at the start of the second semester. Molinaro fired in, and the Lakers try to regroup in the offensive zone.
Yeah, good opportunity there, but Molinaro kind of had a weird angle going there with the backhand, and really the best shot he had was kind of clear it there. But one thing I like from Lakers there, Tyler Curry kind of manning the top of the point and getting off a good shot and a good opportunity for a rebound. So good to see that out of Curry tonight.
Yeah, and so far this weekend, Curry's done a great job jumping in on the offense as he keeps a puck in here. Now the body of Judd is now Judd makes a move. The forward here for the fourth line of Fredonia, trying to establish a bit of a forecheck here, a bit of a grinder or defensive line. Not a lot of points coming from Chandler Judd. Just a single goal in 18 games played heading into tonight. Tyler Curry picks it up and enters the zone, hesitates, looking for a move, gets this backhand, and he'll circle around the net. Rosen back out in front for a chance. No one can find another chance for the Lakers. Unable to put it home is Derek Brown, one of the seniors on this fourth line for the Lakers. Puck caught in Kirkby's skates, and he'll try to get to work on the forecheck, but it's escaped by Victor Tracy, which fired in for Antonucci, who misplays the puck and that's the play behind the goal line.
I really like the play there by Chandler Judd. The fourth line, for the Lakers, that's a line that can score, but for Fredonia, they just want to flip the ice. They did a really good job there getting their top line in once again.
Scorpio holds up by the circles. He'll tuck it back in. DiCarlo trying to go to work here, but he's a step slow on Craig McCabe as he'll flip the ice for his defensive partner and Tommy Martin. Martin escapes the zone, and now Novak has to backtrack and pick it up in the Oswego State end. 16:25 left to go in the first period. Not much action either end, as neither team's been able to register a shot on goal, or Fredonia has one officially. And now DiCarlo from behind his own net. Has some speed, makes a defender trip, and now he's got a 3-on-2 if they can hurry. DiCarlo leaves it for Emerson. Back cross for Pissarro, and the slot shot saved by Rosen. And a beauty as he comes out to challenge Pissarro.
What a play there by Alex DiCarlo, going end-to-end, makes a great dump pass, and then Pissarro, a great opportunity.
Back the way come Fredonia, puck between the legs of Antonucci, but good job tying up the stick of Jacob Haynes, the leading scorer for this Fredonia squad, as now Antonucci looks to escape the other way. Antonucci in his own in the neutral zone, battling with Whitman, gets over for Pissarro at the red line. He'll fire it in. Can't quite get it past Tommy Martin at the Fredonia blue line. And now Fredonia will flip the ice and go to work. Speeding down the far side is Tanner Kalu back behind the net, battling with Antonucci. Gillespie there as well. Zizek will pick that one up, hit the blue line, and now try to get it over Broman, but instead it's chipped back in by the Blue Devils.
One thing I really like about Tyler Antonucci in year 2 with the Lakers, he's improved his defense immensely. We know he's a guy that can pass offensively, but it really seems like he's coming to his own defensively. I remember last year a couple of big key mistakes in the defensive zone for the Lakers, but this year he's really tightened it up.
And Antonucci only has 2 assists in his last 10 games. He's a guy that was brought in to be an offensive force, but as you said, Luke, really doing a good job in the defensive end as Antonucci almost turns the puck over, but strong on his stick, and he gets a pass over for Gillespie. 3-on-2 the way, Gillespie at the circle. Back for Broman, shot. It doesn't get all of it. Another chance for Broman. Another one for Antonucci, takes a shot. Now Vance cuts back down low. Vance trying to chip it back in front, and Rosen standing tall has been excellent in the last couple shifts. Back the other way comes Lee to Ryder, blocked by Vance at the circle, and now the Lakers trying to flip the script the other way. 2-on-2, Zizek and Sullivan. Zizek at the circle, looking for a pass, trying to drop it off for Molinaro, but a good defensive effort by the Blue Devils. Jody Sullivan with it now at the goal line. Creeps out towards the circle, hesitating and slowing things down now with 14:25 left to go. Fires a shot, going up and seems to have gone out of play. Both the Lakers and the linesmen couldn't quite find it, but with 14:22 to go, we finally got our first of the game, finally kind of starting to pick up here, getting some chances for the Lakers.
Yeah, both teams kind of going back and forth, and that time a good 3-on-2 opportunity going the other way. And if I'm Josh Zizek, as we look at the replay here, I think you pass it right there. He's a second late, or excuse me, this play here, he gets it to Broman, but on the ensuing possession was when he kind of passed a second too late. So maybe take from that first opportunity and try to find Broman in that high slot area.
It looked like Broman maybe didn't get all of that shot, as Sullivan has a chance on the wraparound, firing it just up and over the glass, as Rosen was playing solid positionally, as now it's Victor Tracy escaping the zone via a little bit of a clear, but Carson Vance will pick it up for Sullivan, trying to find a cross-ice pass, but instead it's intercepted by Martin and leads Victor Tracy into the zone. For Haynes, now back for Tracy behind the net, looking for a pass out in front, but Sullivan finishes his check on Tracy, and now the Blue Devils will go to work. Kurbis with it now, back around for Tracy, trying to generate some offense are the Blue Devils. They had majority of the good puck play the first couple shifts, but now it's been all Lakers since. Molinaro the other way with it now as the rest of the Lakers are going for a line change. He'll circle back around, knocked down hard, no call there, except the crowd finally starting to get into it. Back down low for Spink. Across from Molinaro, had Kirkby out in front, back across from Spink, and Kirkby couldn't find it. Fredonia the other way, it's Jacob Haynes generating some offense, or at least trying to, can't do so, and now the Lakers will spring Tanner Spink. 3-on-4 come the Lakers. Spink will go for the wraparound here, hesitating back to the point from McMillan. Fires a shot eventually, but it doesn't hit the front net. Spink gets a chance, and the puck's sitting on the doorstep, but Rosen does a good job just getting the glove over the top and holding for a whistle.
Yeah, really good job there by Rosen. We'll take a look at the replay in a moment, but just really good rebound control by Rosen. We've seen that so far in this one, and the Lakers get another really good opportunity out there in front as we get a look at the replay. Great pass, and McMillan kind of squeezed it in there just enough to get it to the slot, and Spink almost had an opportunity for the rebound. So some bad puck control by the Fredonia defense there, kind of allowing that pass to get in the high slot area.
And as Anders Johnson had the puck initially, kind of almost jumped off his stick, didn't do a good job clearing the zone, and left it for a beautiful chance for the Lakers as the Lakers maintain possession in the zone. Emerson with it now, dropping it off for Pissarro behind him as they try to go to work, and Fredonia trying to shrug the Lakers off the puck as Pissarro evades a hit. Fredonia able to regain possession and try to clear, and they'll do so. Kalu with it now at the neutral zone for Gamache. He'll have to fire it in as Kalu goes for a line change. Riche out to play the puck for Curry behind his own net. Now DiCarlo with it. He'll escape the zone to Emerson. Emerson fires it down. He'll go off for a line change as the Lakers get that top line out there. Or rather, the second line, I should say, with Gillespie and Zizek roaming out there as well.
And Oswego State, a team that, of course, is used to winning the shot battles and face-off battles. And Fredonia, a team that's used to trailing in them. They don't need to win the shot battle to win games. So as much as it seems it's going the Lakers' way, Fredonia can still hang around.
Gillespie cross-ice pass for Zizek had a chance, but couldn't corral the heavy pass from Gillespie. His senior classmate, of course, tonight being senior night. After the game, Lakers will celebrate 13 seniors as Antonucci, the sophomore, will tuck it back in and leave it for Gillespie on the far side. Gillespie slowing things down here, looking for a cross-ice pass for Antonucci, but Letmansky gets a stick involved. And now the other way come the Fredonia Blue Devils. Firing it around the boards is Lee for Letmansky. Rather, it's Gorey as Letmansky goes off for a line change. And with only a couple Blue Devils out there in the offensive zone, the Lakers are able to regain possession. Cross-ice pass for Broman on a breakaway at the hash marks. Cuts in, shut. What a save by Rosen. Oh my goodness. On the backhand, and Rosen slams the door.
Yeah, and what a great pass to find Travis Broman on the breakaway there, but Antoine Rosen shut the door as Broman tried to go to the backhand, but what a great save by Rosen, just sliding over there, making the save with his leg and shutting the door. As we look on the replay, look at this move by Broman, and Rosen full split, banana style, as Broman tried to go to the backhand, and Rosen a great job using his stick as well to make that save.
Back the other way with it now come the Blue Devils, but they're intercepted. And now Mono trying to get into the zone, but can't do so, as Ethan Curvis will pick it back and drop it off to his defense. The other way now, Haynes knocked down hard in the neutral zone, and trying to dump it in are the Blue Devils, and they're unable to get it in deep as Vance picks it up. Carson Vance with it now. Shuffles a pass over, but Victor Tracy intercepts, and now along the boards, he's trying to go to work. Vance loses it, shot just goes wide off the stick of Jacob Haynes. Riche in good position to make the save if he had to, and now a spring the other way from Molinaro. He's got Sullivan with him as well. Allen the trailer to Allen, shot, scores! Carter Allen, and the Lakers take a 1-0 lead.
And what a great play that time by the Lakers, moving in 3-on-2. That's how you execute a 3-on-2, and great awareness from Carter Allen to trail on that pass from Molinaro. As we take a look at the replay here, as Carter Allen leading the handshake line, and look at this amazing pass, Molinaro into the high slot area. Carter Allen gets his man in a cycle and buries that one for the Lakers. What a pass by Joseph Molinaro, and a great job by Carter Allen to finish the job.
Yeah, his second goal of the season, and for Carter Allen, a really tough play to make if you're the Blue Devils defense. You're expecting a 2-on-2, and the trailer jumps in a hurry as we get a whistle here for a hand pass. And with that stoppage and play, we'll throw it to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
Well, thank you guys. And as I go from one senior night to another here in the Moreno Campus Center Arena, what a cross-ice pass there for Carter Allen to slot that home. But the Lakers are playing very well behind the net and behind Rosen. They're disrupting his line of vision. That's why they're doing so well in their end. All right, back to you guys up in the booth, Luke and Matt.
Thank you, Mike. And it's always critical to get some traffic in front of the net, as Mike Gross alluded to, and we'll hear from her later in the game as Tanner Spink has a chance for Brown's shot, just goes wide. And now Spink trying to go back to work for Allen. Back for Spink, Lakers picking up pace. Brown in the slot, just goes wide. As now Scorpio picks it back up. At the circle, chips it, trying to get back down low for Brown, can't do so. Spink tied up with Craig McKay behind the net of the Blue Devils, but both get back to their feet as the puck is now in the Lakers' end.
And of course, an important note, as said by the PA announcer, Molinaro, the senior, getting the assist there to Carter Allen, who is a junior, but he wears that letter A, and that was obviously a great moment between the two of them. And you never know, Carter Allen might be the guy to wear the C next season for the Lakers.
And of course, last year, one of the only underclassmen to wear the A was Josh Zizek, who ended up getting the captaincy letter on his jersey, so we'll wait and see for next year. But right now, the Blue Devils jumping it back into the zone. Looking for a chance to Carlos Shaw on his stick, can't quite maintain possession. A good job by Tyler Reiter, who is able to momentarily knock it off the puck of DiCarlo, or the stick of DiCarlo, I should say, but the Lakers regain possession.
Yeah, and the Lakers have kind of struggled to get the offense going after that goal, and I like the heavy forecheck being applied by Fredonia right now.
Emerson sticks it in, and the Lakers going for a line change on their back end. Curry and McMillan get out here, both a pair of seniors on the senior night. As Curry picks it up in the neutral zone, firing it for Emerson on the far side. Emerson to Pissarro, back for Emerson, lost in his skates, but he'll get it back to McMillan. McMillan had to play on his backhand as a defender was chasing him down, so he has to just dump it back in and let Pissarro go to work. Back around the boards for Emerson. Spins around to go behind the net of Rosen. Trying to spin around again, battling alongside his defender is Emerson. His stick is broken on a slash and no call there. But still, play will continue. Tyler Curry dumping it back down low, hits the stick of Emerson as he gets off the ice and Gillespie back on. And puck still in the end. DiCarlo with it now, playing around the stick of Emerson behind the net. Look, has Isaac back out in front, no one home for the Lakers. And now the other way comes Matt Litmansky, and he'll just dump it and go off for a line change.
Yeah, good news for the Lakers there, as the Blue Devils did need that line change. But, you know, that did look to me like a missed slashing call there, as Emerson just got a stick just cut in half that time.
Rosen calling for an icing there, no call there, as Broman will pick it up and try to go to work, but instead a hit from Zyzik on Charlie Manley, sending down the 6-foot senior. Back the way for Broman, has a chance at the circle, can't quite do so, and now the other way with it now comes Demokopoulos, but it's fired up and out of play, so with 8:06 left to go, we've got some time here, and just the Lakers really dominating in terms of the shot department, 7-on-1. And it feels like that kind of game to some extent.
Yeah, it does. And like I said, Fredonia used to playing from behind in the shots total, but with that being said, you don't want to be trailing 7-1, as that's just not the margin that you want if you're the Blue Devils. So they got to get something going. I think their best opportunity would be probably a rush going the other way.
Sullivan gets the draw back for Antonucci from the point shot. Save made by Rosen. And as Luke, as you point out to me here in the Steve Lee press box, Cortland loses their game to Buffalo State 2-1. So Cortland eliminated from playoff contention with the loss. And Buffalo State will presumably jump up to the 3 spot if Geneseo takes care of business and defeats Brockport tonight.
Yeah, so that's a big loss, obviously, for Cortland. They're eliminated. A team that beat the Lakers just a couple weeks ago, and they lose both games. The first game they lose this weekend was to this Fredonia team. So, of course, that game didn't impact Fredonia, but it does impact the SUNYAC. That increases the chances for Potsdam to maybe hang on.
Mac Lewis a chance on the high slot. Easy save for Rosen, and Geneseo so far beating Brockport 2-0. So with that in mind, Buffalo State looking to host a home game as a high hit on Craig McCabe, no penalty there, as the refs are letting them play this one out. Now for Sullivan on the far side corner boards, battling Mac Lewis there as well. Sullivan looking to work the puck out, can't do so as it's escaped by the Blue Devils, but looks to go down the length of the ice for an icing here with 7:26 left to go in the first period.
Yeah, it really feels like this game got a little bit chippy. After that hit, you saw kind of a skirmish along the boards with 2 Lakers players, 2 Blue Devils in that corner, as you see Tyler Antonucci kind of talking to the ref here, wondering why there wasn't a call. And no calls yet so far, but I got to tell you, Matt, we had no calls in that Buffalo State game in the first period, but this game feels a lot more physical so far.
It does, a lot more physicality, and it's kind of what Fredonia kind of brings to the table. Of course, a couple of seasons ago, back in Zizek's sophomore year, Fredonia defeated the Oswego State Lakers in the first round of the SUNYAC playoffs, a playoff that the Blue Devils are trying to get back to as the Lakers touch up for the second consecutive icing. And some more scores from around the SUNYAC. Morrisville beating Plattsburgh 1-0 early in the first period. So a bunch of jumbling going on here. We'll wait and see for some playoff implications. But again, Cortland officially eliminated with their loss tonight.
And Morrisville, with that Cortland loss, they get a little help, because if they beat Plattsburgh, Fredonia loses here in the wheelhouse, and Cortland has already lost. So Morrisville, a win and a loss by Fredonia, and they're in.
Yep, and Kirkby intercepts a pass. Now behind that, back on front for Scorpio, chips it just wide. Past Anton Rosen and the net as the Fredonia Blue Devils are able to just punch it in to the neutral zone. Lakers trying to generate some offense here, but offside was Tanner Spink.
Yeah, Scorpio had a great opportunity there, and as you mentioned, kind of just flicked that one up past the net of Rosen. Maybe thought about it a little bit too much in the area there. Maybe wanted to control the puck before firing that shot.
I'm talking about the physicality. Tanner Spink, not one to generate a lot of hits for the Lakers, but he threw one there before going off for the line change. 6:30 left to go here in the first period. Lakers with a 1-0 lead off the stick of the junior Carter Allen, as the Blue Devils turn it over in the neutral zone. Back the other way comes Emerson. He's got Passero in the slot. Shot by Emerson, blocked in front by McCabe. And the Lakers get it back to their deep point. Unable to get a hard-up pass on that was McMillan, and a good chance for the Blue Devils was erased by the defensive back check of Curry and McMillan.
Yeah, David Riche twice so far this game has come out pretty far to play pucks out of his own net.
Yeah, very inactive goaltender, one that maybe it's not used to as much as Kozakowski's got a lot of the starts as of late. As Passero gets back for Curry, shot, save, rebound out in front. And a glorious chance denied by Rosen, an even better job by Kalu to exit the zone. Back the other way, shot, sticked aside by Riche on the rebound behind the net. Kalu with it now as the Blue Devils go off for a line change, so DiCarlo able to pick that one up and escape to Gillespie with ease. Gillespie at the circles, his stick is lifted, and now back the other way comes Karik and Barley. Shot just goes up and over the net. Fredonia still maintains possession. Looking for a chance here at the circles was Greg Lee. Can't do anything with it, so he'll flip the ice for Manley. The defender pitching in quite deep. Now Matt Lemansky takes his place. Now the Lakers looking for a rush the other way. Zizik chips around Lemansky, has a chance, but Gamache back to play the puck. Hugo Gamache there for the Blue Devils, able to intercept and bounce the other way as now Lemansky picks it up once more. A lot of sloppy zone play so far from Fredonia, especially in that neutral zone, Luke.
Yeah, there has been, and really uncharacteristic. Just a couple of plays ago, Jacob Haynes had an opportunity to go in 2-on-2, possibly 2-on-1 if he could have threaded that pass through, but an errant pass leads to an easy clear for Oswego State. Not a guy that you expect to make a sloppy pass, as another one there by Lemetsky.
And now Sullivan has a chance one-on-one with Gamache. Sullivan's shot just goes wide, looking to fire at top corner, but just grips the stick a little too tight and just goes wide of the net. At Molinaro to Mac Lewis, can't find it. Antonucci with a chance, and it just goes behind the net. It's Mac Lewis barreling in on the forecheck. Molinaro picks it up. Back for Antonucci at the point. Has some time, back over for Novik. Novik at left point, back for Antonucci. Shot, saved by Rosen, rebound out in front. It trickles behind the net, and Sullivan will pick it back up. And then we see some real zone time from this Lakers third line as we got a stoppage in play here. As we wait the call, looks like it might have been an offside as Antonucci pulled it back.
Yeah, and for Antonucci, a tough play there, but as we look on the scoreboard, 2-0 lead for Geneseo. So if Geneseo pulls away in that one, Buffalo State would lock up the 3 seed and Brockport would fall to the 4 seed. Of course, those two teams that we could see next weekend here inside MCC unless they're upset on that Wednesday night quarterfinal.
All right, the Wednesday quarterfinal, it was an exciting time to watch for SUNYAC fans as the Lakers win the draw forward, but Mac Lewis can't corral it. And now Victor Tracy back the other way. One-on-one with Novik, or Allen, excuse me. Tracy wanted an interference call as Allen stood his ground, but no call there. Back for McCabe at the point. Cuts down low, looking for a pass over, and an incidental collision, and McCabe is slow to get up. Looks like it might have been Mac Lewis hit McCabe in the head. No call there. It's incidental behind the play as the board battle continues. McCabe, shot, save, rebound out in front, and Riche pounces on that one. And with 3:44 left to go, we'll get a stoppage in play here.
Yeah, and Haynes that time was knocking on the doorstep as you see him getting a little bit chippy inside there with Mac Lewis, not a guy you probably want to get chippy with. But for Tracy and Haynes, two guys that had been the best scorers for this Fredonia team, they've been held silent. But that time a good job by David Riche in controlling the rebound. We've seen a couple plays from Riche today, and the word that pops into my head is veteran. And we know he's not, the starter anymore for this Lakers team, but he has been the starter, and really good, solid play in net from Riche so far.
Yeah, very dependable for most of the season and most of his career, I should say, as a Laker, coming with a .915 save percentage all time as a Laker. This will probably be his final game of his Lakers career as it's senior night. Back across, a chance for Whitney. Can't make a play, or Whitman, excuse me. And now McMillan trying to escape the zone. Gets it over for Derek Brown. He's knocked off the puck, and Kahlua will try to fire it in deep as McMillan picks it up. Leave it over for Derek Brown at the near side circle. Up for Spink as they escape the zone, trying to generate some offense. Flips this to the other side of the ice as Spink is knocked down again, and looked like it was Tyson Kirkby offside. And with 3:17 left to go here in this first period, we'll send it to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
Once again, thank you guys. Fredonia has not been able to capitalize on those breakaways. The puck would just drift into the Oswego zone, and they just have not been able to put it away. David Riche done a nice job so far, but you will see Cedric Hansen, at least we think. It is senior night, so if we get to see him, it'll probably be in that second period. Maybe all three goaltenders will have a chance to play in between the pipes. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Thank you, Mike, as the Lakers win the draw here. Again, 3:14 left to go. Lakers with a 1-0 lead off the stick of Carter Allen. It was a 3-on-2 as the puck skips up on Rosen, and DeCarlo pick it up from behind Rosen's net. Carter Allen, of course, that first goal came on a 3-on-2 with the trailer. Fires it just past Rosen here, and back across for DeCarlo in the slot, firing it just wide. Had another good chance there. We saw the elevation he can get on his shots on a full display last night with his 2-on-1 goal against Buffalo State. Back to the point for Antonucci. Now Novik at center point. Shot blocked in front. Looked like it hit DeCarlo, or the man in front of him. Battling with him was Manley, and the Lakers still keep it in the zone. Now back to the far side for Emerson. Emerson takes a step, looks for a shot, goes just wide, and physicality continuing as Passero keeps it back in. DeCarlo behind the net, battling alongside Hugo Gamache, trying to get it back to the point, can't do so, but Antonucci will fire it in after it was offside, so the Lakers have to wait and touch up.
Yeah, a couple times Antonucci's kind of not been able to hug that blue line. That time really not his fault, but that's just a play. If you're Antonucci, maybe you hug back and wait for that line change instead of sending in and forcing all your guys to tag back up.
And again, you wonder, you don't want to be too aggressive as Riche makes a nice save. Big rebound, now Zizik has a chance, 2-on-1. Zizek on a breakaway, back in, forehand, just goes up and over the net, and I looked like he waited a bit too long to shoot that one as he didn't have much of an angle.
Yeah, that ended up being an easy save for Rosen, and really the perfect scene was set there for Josh Zizek, the senior captain, but a good job by Rosen staying true to his backhand, and as you mentioned, probably not the shot that Zizek wanted on that breakaway.
Had Gillespie trailing as well, so maybe an early shot would have helped Gillespie pick up a rebound, but nonetheless, the Lakers continue now in their defensive zone. Puck skips over the stick of a defender for the Lakers. Now Zizek picks it up, and he'll fire it down. Cross-ice dump in for Travis Broman on the far side. Pick it up behind the goal line, hesitating, battling with him is Craig McCabe. Took a hit earlier in the offensive zone. Now shot from the point by Carter Allen, just goes wide. Vance creeps in from the point. He'll pinch here now behind the goal line. Zizek takes his place on the point. Vance hit down hard, no call there. Some fans wanted a call, but nonetheless, again, the referee's really playing this looser contested game. 2-0 the other way. Losing the puck off his stick was Jacob Haynes, and that's an uncharacteristic play for the leading scorer of this Fredonia team.
Yeah, not just Haynes, but also Victor Tracy had a tough time controlling that puck. And as you just mentioned a moment before, Carson Vance, he's pleading his case with the referee right now. It looked like he very clearly kind of took a cross-check from Max Blitz, but no call, and the referee's clearly letting the game kind of play itself out with just a minute to go in this first period.
1 minute left. As you said, Luke, Lakers win the draw. And Molinaro fires a cross-ice pass for McMillan. Hits the red line. He'll chip it in and go to work again. In the last minute or so of a period, you do not want to give up a goal, especially when you're nursing a one-goal lead. Lakers forecheck trying to go to work here, but instead back the other way with it is Kalu. He'll pass it out, but it's intercepted by McMillan. And now Curry passes it back to McMillan in his own zone. Mac Lewis slowing things down. He'll fire a cross-ice pass. Now Sullivan has a chance after it's misplayed by Tommy Martin, but Sullivan couldn't quite catch up to that puck. Mosh behind his net, hit hard by Mac Lewis, and again no call there. And slow to get up is the Fredonia Blue Devil. A couple of big hits laid by Mac Lewis in his Oswego State career, and that's one of them there on Hugo Gamache. Mac Lewis will head to the bench now. It's back to the point. Curry center point. Shot blocked in front. Again a chance for McMillan, and a save made by Rosen, and now Whitman has a chance to go the other way. He's shrugged off by Kirkby as he fires it in behind the net of Richer with about 3 seconds left. That'll do it here for the first period as the final buzzer sounds for the first 20 minutes of play. And Luke, a good first 20 for the Lakers?
Yeah, and I really want to talk about Mac Lewis really quickly. He seems to be the enforcer for this Oswego State team, but it was a good period, good offensive zone time. And for the Blue Devils, Matt, they really look uncomfortable in the offensive zone. They haven't had many set plays, and some of their stars, guys like Jacob Haynes, Victor Tracy, Tommy Martin, with some uncharacteristic mistakes. So they go into the locker room only trailing 1-0, but they've really been dominated by this Lakers team in the first period.
And for those Lakers, they seemed like they were shot out of a cannon, really excited for senior night. And sometimes you kind of see a bit of a lull or deflation in play, but they haven't done that.
Yeah, they haven't. So we'll see if they can kind of keep that going in that second period.
We'll take a quick break here on Hockey Night in Oswego. When we come back, the first intermission report with Ben Kinney and the rest of the guys over there at the Perch. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP 10.
And welcome into the first intermission report here on WTOP's Hockey Night in Oswego. I'm Ben Kinney alongside Nick Ketter and Zach Case. And a good first period, guys. What were your thoughts on that first period?
Well, in the first period, the Lakers really doing a great job getting a lot of shots off. As we look at the period summary here, 13 shots, in fact, to Fredonia's 4. No power plays, no penalties in this first period. The Lakers have stayed disciplined as they did last night early. 11 face-offs won, and Zach, you said that was going to be important going into this one.
Yeah, I definitely thought the Lakers came out guns a-blazing right off the bat. They got 3 quality opportunities before that first goal that was scored. Right in the slot. Rosen's been a great job for Fredonia, but I think Oswego's done really good so far.
Now, we mentioned the first goal of the night. Carter Allen scoring that one off an assist from senior Joey Molinaro. Can you guys walk me through this goal?
Yeah, Joe Molinaro, a great setup pass to Carter Allen. Carter Allen was just able to finish as we see it here. Now Molinaro sees he's setting up, sees Carter Allen there. Carter Allen with a nice finish. Anthony Pissarro creating that distraction in front of Rosen. Rosen had to decide between two players who's gonna get the pass. It was Carter Allen. He finishes.
Zach, what were your thoughts on this goal?
Well, you saw that center drive that took the far defenseman straight towards the net, left Carter Allen wide open in the high slot. So that triangle on that 3-on-2 there worked really well, as it always does. Lakers got to keep doing that on the rush when they get that opportunity. They'll keep scoring goals here in this game.
Are they doing well shot-wise so far?
I think their shot selection could be a little better. One specifically, Alex DiCarlo had a wide open opportunity in the slot and missed wide left. So I think if they focus in and they focus up on the fact that you keep their shots on Rosen, you'll get quality rebounds. They'll keep scoring here.
Now, another thing we're looking at is the fact that Fredonia has heard the truck horns a few times. Mac Lewis delivering some big hits, and you can see it goes both ways. The physicality, Fredonia, they want to make this playoff spot.
Well, yeah, Fredonia, I said earlier in this game, they're a scrappy team, but they've gotten themselves into a pretty physical contest against a Lakers team that can deliver some big hits. As you said, Mac Lewis there with a big hit down low, and players were slow to get up. The officials kind of letting it go. As you see, Carson Vance takes a hit there from behind, and another big hit there, kind of a leg-to-leg collision there, but also Mac Lewis. And going forward, I mean, for the playoffs, you could just see how much Fredonia wants it, but the Lakers here at senior night, they don't want to give up anything or any inch of ice at all.
Yeah, the Lakers are really keeping the energy in the Marano Campus Center with some of those big hits. You see the student section really getting alive there after that first goal. So if you keep the physicality up, I think the Lakers will be all set here.
Now, you guys, how do you think your players to watch are doing? Nick, what do you think? How do you think, rather, your players to watch are doing tonight so far?
Well, you saw Anthony Pissarro with that net drive there on the goal, so he's really doing a good job. He's being a leader out there. He's creating those diversions. Fredonia knows he can score, and he has a lot of assists, so I'm looking for him to get on the board again, or get on the board in this one.
Zach, how do you think your players are doing?
Well, Joseph Molinaro is +1 on the night so far, so he's having a good night in the fact that he also got that assist there, so he's playing good in his senior night. And then, of course, on the other end, Jacob Haynes, we've seen a lot of physicality about him, even after the whistles in front of the net. That's a game that Fredonia likes to play. You can get Oswego wrapped up in that. That's how you get power play opportunities. So I think both of my players are doing good so far in this game.
Now let's take a look around the SUNYAC. As we mentioned earlier, we have a few games going on tonight other than the ones here. What are you guys seeing so far with these scores?
Well, Buffalo State with a 2-1 victory over Cortland. That really eliminates Cortland from SUNYAC competition. First intermission, Morrisville up on Plattsburgh. Last night, Plattsburgh really took care of the Mustangs in Plattsburgh. So we'll see that game as it continues on. And then 4-0 Geneseo right now. If that win stays, of course, on course there, we'll see Buffalo State coming into the Marano Campus Center for semis, and Brockport will go back to Geneseo in their semifinals game.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we return, we're going to send it back up to the guys in the Steve Levy press box. We'll see you at the second intermission here on Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP. And welcome back to Hockey Night in Oswego here on WTOP. Ben Kinney alongside Nick Ketter and Zach Case as we look back at the first period of play here. And one thing we are looking at is a big performance by Anton Rosen of Fredonia. You saw the number of shots Oswego put up and only allowing one goal. Let's take a look. What are your guys' thoughts on his stats, not just from tonight, but from this season, which we'll see in a little bit, but some of the saves he's made tonight?
Yeah, the goaltender really came out, challenged Oswego, especially with some shot opportunities. You saw Broman with a shot on from the slot. A lot of secondary, third opportunities that Fredonia's kind of like allowing the puck to just stay around the crease. I think Rosen's doing a good job. You see the breakaway from Zizek there that he could not bury, from Broman, excuse me. But multiple opportunities. Rosen's been doing a great job in that. I think he'll continue to have a good performance.
Now let's take a look at Rosen's stats from this season, rather. What are your thoughts on this, Nick?
Well, 17 games played for him, allowing a little over two, or save percentage rather, of .275. The goals against average, well, I think that's a little backwards there, but .920 with the save percentage there. He's doing a pretty good job in net, around 92% of shots he's saving, but it's really showing here tonight. He's doing a great job keeping his team in this game. You saw a lot of breakaway opportunities, one from Broman, one from Zizek. DeCarlo had an open shot. He is definitely doing a great job. I think he's definitely carrying the team here early, and it's only a one goal game because of Anton Rosa.
And now, what's working for both teams? Fredonia rather first.
Well, if I'm Oswego, I think you're doing a good job with your physicality and your offensive zone. When you are in the defensive zone, stay keen to that structure because it has been working with the odd man rushes and the breakaway opportunities. So I think Oswego's doing a great job so far on those ends of the ice.
Now, what needs to be improved for this second period if you're Fredonia, if you want to get back in this game?
Well, on the Fredonia side of things, there's not a lot of good to say about this first, except for Rosen's play, keeping this a one-goal game, but sloppy passing for them. As the guys in the booth said, the neutral zone play was not great for them as well. They had a lot of turnovers. They're not possessing the puck nearly enough in this game. Oswego's had the puck. It looks like a power play. I know we were saying that to each other while the period was going on. Throughout the entire first period, they're definitely going to need to change some things up and get a lot more clean and better if they want to get back into this one.
All right, well, we'll be back for the second intermission. Until then, we're going to go to a quick break and then throw it up to the guys in the Steve Levy press box. We'll see you in just under 20 minutes here on WTOP's Hockey Night in Oswego.
Joined alongside the press box, and after 20 minutes of play, the Lakers lead the SUNY Fredonia Blue Devils by a score of 1-0. But Luke, despite Oswego State dominating play, outshooting Fredonia 14-3, Fredonia just this close, one goal away from tying the Lakers.
Yeah, David Richer did a good job with his rebound control in that first period, but you think if maybe one of those rebounds leaks out, maybe a guy like Haynes can kind of hammer it home and tie the game up. So they're just 2-on-1 away from tying this game up.
And of course, with this being the last day of SUNYAC play, we've got an updated rankings here for you. Buffalo State looks to be the 4 seed right now, but if Brockport loses to Geneseo, and they're doing so right now, Buffalo State will leapfrog Brockport due to the tiebreaker.
Yeah, Geneseo up 4-0 right now on Brockport. That would lead them into that 3 seed, and if Morrisville State can beat Plattsburgh after losing 8-2 the night before, they would be in the 5th seed in the SUNYAC. So a lot of jumping could still happen, and of course, Matt, here in our game, Fredonia, it's pretty simple. You win or you go home, and we'll see how they respond in this second period.
Yeah, and it's a first period they didn't necessarily play that great, but again, they seem like they're just one swing away, one home run pass, one odd man rush away from tying it back up. And for the Lakers, that's something you don't want to have to deal with. There you see Richer still in net. Antonucci looks like he might be out there to start as well. And on the other side of the ice, Rosen will most likely see the entire game as it's an away senior day for the Blue Devils. They just want to win this game, don't really care about the pomp and circumstance. But the Lakers and the Lakers fans, again, expect maybe to see around midway through this period, you might see Gosek call timeout or pull Richer in favor of his other senior goaltender, Cedric Hansen.
Yeah, it's something you see in the pros, obviously, where if you have a guy, retiring, you take the timeout, you let him have his grand exit, and we'll see what Ed Gosek has planned for David Richer.
And both Richer and Hansen deserve that type of grand exit. As Fredonia, a chance the other way. Coming in, looking for a pass over to Victor Tracy. Can't quite connect, but the Fredonia Blue Devils, no chance or no wasting chances or time to start generating some offense.
Yeah, we talked about it just a moment ago. Haynes and Tracy, those two guys, almost a 2-on-1 opportunity. Great defensive play by Max Novick with the block.
Still with the puck now are the Blue Devils as Jacob Haynes tries to pass the puck out, but instead it's intercepted by Max Novick. For DeCarlo now, 2-on-2, he's got Emerson. DeCarlo shot, just gloved or sticked up and over. And now Victor Tracy trying to escape the zone for the Blue Devils. He gets to the stick of Jacob Haynes, one of the leading goal scorers for this Fredonia squad, the highest point total on the roster, third most in the SUNYAC. Passero with it now in the neutral zone will fire a pass around as the Lakers complete their line change as Gillespie trying to corral puck, and now Broman knocks his man off the puck.
Yeah, Rose a little bit slow there getting back to the net. Got to be careful. Broman almost had a wide open opportunity.
Broman fires a quick shot into the pads of Rosen. makes an easy save here with 8:56 to go. We've got a stoppage and play and an offensive zone draw for the Lakers.
Yeah, and to shift to go, there's two guys on this Oswego State team where I think instant offense. First is Travis Broman, and really the second guy has been freshman Alex DiCarlo. It seems like anytime those two guys touch the puck, I'm not saying they're Oswego State's two most talented players, but you know, they're obviously in that conversation with a guy like Josh Isaac, Anthony Pissarro, list goes on and on, but it seems like DiCarlo and Broman can really create offense from anywhere on the ice.
Yeah, it does. You see a lot of high slot opportunities for the Lakers and for those two especially, as Broman picks up the puck here at the circle. Cutting in, shot, save, rebound again, and another good save by Rosen, standing tall, positionally sound, as Gillespie picks it up and he'll fire it back down from the blue line.
Good job covering the 5-hole that time by Rosen.
Yeah, got to clamp the stick down between the legs. And Broman, as you said, Luke, and almost predicted to some extent, generate some instant offense off a quick turnover. Isaac now behind the net, trying to fly away from a pair of Blue Devils, but can't do so. Blue Devils with the puck now. They'll chip it out for Vance at the neutral zone. He'll hit off the linesman, and Isaac will fire it back in, letting Broman get on the forecheck on McKay, but not much there for the Lakers as they go off for a line change.
Yeah, after kind of a concerning first 30 seconds in the second period, the Lakers have really picked up play, especially defensively, and using a strong, heavy forecheck. You saw Travis Broman before he went off, kind of clean off 2 or 3 guys on his way to the bench.
Mac Lewis chips that one in behind the net of Rosen, and again, watch out for big Mac Lewis, only 6 feet tall, but nearly 200 pounds. He's got a heavy hit, and he unleashed that a couple times earlier in that first period as Kalu escapes the zone. 2-on-3 the other way, firing a shot. No, doesn't get on Riche, but he makes the initial save. Back out in front of Chance. Another stop, and they score. Chandler Judd on the doorstep, and Fredonia ties the game at 1.
Yeah, Chandler Judd, a guy we mentioned right in the beginning of the broadcast, doesn't score very often. That's only his second goal in 19 games on that 4th line. As we look at the replay, it looked like David Riche maybe tried to go to the stick. There's a lot of traffic in front of the net here. As you say, Riche came out of his net. He creeped a little bit too much, and by the time the puck gets back to Chandler Judd, it's an easy tap-in. And this game, just like that, Matt, in a blink of an eye, we have a 1-1 game.
Yeah, you saw McMillan there on the left side of Riche trying to come out to make a play, and when the puck's kind of a couple of feet out in front of that crease, it's a tough stop to make for Riche, but again, the crowd falling silent here in the ice arena.
Yeah, obviously they probably wanted to see Riche leave this game with no goals allowed. That one, of course, though, maybe a little bit of defensive lapse in front of him by McMillan, but if you're Riche, you want to kind of stay in position to make that save.
Yeah, Lakers with it now in the offensive zone, trying to score their second goal, first of the period for the Lakers, as Rosen stops a shot by Max Novick. And with 17:10 left to go here in the second period, we'll send it down to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
Thank you, guys. You know, one thing you have to point out with these teams is the defensive depth. Well, with Judd netting that goal right there, he's not on the defense, but Charlie Manley is, and he has 10 goals and 7 assists for Fredonia. But on the other end for Oswego, Carter Allen netted that. He's on the defense, and Antonucci and Curry both had 2 shots apiece in that first period. But for now, we'll send it back up to you. We'll see what's doing in the second period.
Thank you, Mike. And again, the offense you saw kind of getting established by the defense of the Lakers last night against Buffalo State as the puck's flipped up and at a play with another stoppage and play here. And Chandler Judd getting the goal officially from the PA announcer. And just a quick trip around the SUNYAC. Again, a couple big games playing. So far, Morrisville entering the second period with a 1-0 lead over Plattsburgh, and Geneseo a 4-0 lead over Brockport.
It'll be interesting to see if the Mustangs come away with a win. Plattsburgh really dominated that game last night from beginning to end. And for Fredonia, that's a big goal, of course, to tie this game up and really, as you said, Matt, suck the life out of this MCC crowd for a moment.
Yeah, and looking for a big hitter, a big chance on the Lakers, and Emerson nearly sprung for a breakaway as Rosen comes out to play the puck. The second and third time he's played out pretty far to play the puck. Back to the way come the Blue Devils. Errant pass gets to the stick of Pissarro as he tries to battle it off from Karik and Barley, and now DiCarlo the other way. DiCarlo in the high slot, cuts to the outside the far side. Back around shot, save, rebound. Cleared away by the Blue Devils, but Vance able to just keep it in momentarily as it hits the leg of Gregory Lee. And now the Lakers will have to reset in the neutral zone. It's DiCarlo. He'll cycle back around in his own end, slowing things down a bit here. 16:10 left to go in the second period. Lakers took a 1-0 lead in the second, but gave it up here in the took a 1-0 lead in the first, gave it up here in the second of a goal from Chandler Judd on the doorstep. Lee picking it back up, hits the red line. He'll fire it in as the defense for the Blue Devils gets to work on the line change. Blue Devils unable to keep it in, and it'll go back down all the way to the length of the ice as Johnson picks it up behind Rosen's net.
Yeah, missed opportunity there for Fredonia. Johnson was set up, but a bad pass.
And a chance for Gillespie on the slot. Makes the save is Rosen. And Gillespie trying to follow up, does a good job trying to get on a loose puck, but Rosen an even better job covering that one up.
Yeah, Rosen bobbled that one for a second, but a good job kind of recollecting himself and making sure that Gillespie couldn't get a stick on that and put it in the back of the net. But a good opportunity for the Lakers, and a really bad job that time by the Fredonia defense. Johnson with the errant pass, and Gillespie was almost able to capitalize.
Lakers can't win that draw or keep it in. Now chance the other way is Victor Tracy, but McMillan standing him up in the neutral zone. Lakers had a second chance, maybe a 3-on-2 if they could have hurried, but Fredonia was able to escape the zone and back out in front, and almost a chance as Rosen couldn't see it, and it hit the back of his skate. Gillespie with a shot just goes wide. As the Lakers crowd getting back involved here, as the Lakers almost had a near own goal off the skate of Rosen in net.
That would have been incredible, and for Rosen that time, luckily for him, it kind of hit his stick and bounced back in front. That could have easily hit the back and went in for a goal.
Back the way come the Blue Devils, tied up by McMillan, and he'll clear it back to the red line is Hugo Gamache. Gamache will fire it in deep here as the Lakers try to establish some zone exit or some offensive pressure here. Haven't been able to do so much this period, the last couple shifts, but an errant pass forces them back in their own end.
Yeah, the Lakers have done a really good job controlling Haynes so far this game. He hasn't had much to do in this second period, or the first period for that matter.
Mac Lewis had a chance, and he'll lay the body again, knocking his man off the puck, but Fredonia keeps it again. Max Blitz trying to escape, but hits off the leg of Mac Lewis. The big train chugging along as the Fredonia Blue Devils are able to escape the zone, and Kalu tries to go to work. Good job by the Lakers to just clear it out of the zone. And Luke, so far the last couple shifts, it feels like the Lakers are playing too much of a prevent defense so far.
Yeah, they're playing a prevent defense, and they're not doing what they do best, going defense to offense. They're just content. You see Molinaro do it there to just chip and chase, but Fredonia's defense is playing so far back that those chip and chases really aren't working, just leads to easy zone exits like this one here.
Yeah, again, Fredonia trying to escape. They do so. Get Gregory Lee, but Molinaro intercepts at the circle. Shot blocked in front, goes behind the net, and now Molinaro gets it back behind the goal line. For Novak at the point, hesitates. He's got Molinaro, but instead he decides to chip it back down low, looking for Sullivan or Kirkby, but instead he finds the stick of a Blue Devil. Intercepted by Molinaro at the circle. Back out in front for Kirkby, and a great save by Rosen as he stretches his right pad across the ice, and the Blue Devils clear.
Yeah, for a 6'3" goaltender, Rosen does a great job getting down into that butterfly, and a good job to make that save on Kirkby.
It looked like behind the play, Molinaro was knocked down. Fans wanting a call, none there. Antonucci behind the net. Back to the circle here as he hesitates. Circles back around the blue line. He's got to get in deep and does so just to Scorpio, but he coughs up the puck, and back to the way come the Blue Devils. Letmansky gets the puck, but Antonucci knocks him off, and just staying on side were the Blue Devils, but intercepted by Spink the other way. Spink 1-on-3. He's got Scorpio with him. At the circle, knocked off his stick by the defender for Fredonia, Tommy Martin. Back to the way comes Letmansky. Looking for a chance, can't quite do so, as back around comes Tyler Reiter. For the point, Kalu interferes with Spink, but no call there, and Spink could have had a breakaway or a one-on-one chance if he was able to get off cleanly.
Yeah, it looked like that might have been an interference, but no call as the referees kind of continue to let play go, as Kalu looked like he kind of grabbed him on his way to the bench as Riche makes a good save.
You know, a shot there by Haynes, and a fairly easy save there for Riche. So far he's got about 7 or 8 unofficially on the stat sheet here, and for Rosen, he's made 22. So for Rosen, he's done a great job keeping his Fredonia Blue Devils in this game, but again, for the Lakers, I don't think they've generated too many grade A opportunities.
They haven't. Even the last one, it was a good pass in front, but Kirkby really couldn't get any lift on that puck, and it was an easy save for Rosen to drop to the butterfly and make.
Lakers win the defensive zone draw and look to escape the zone off the stick of Carter Allen. He hits the red line, and he'll fire it a cross-ice dump in, stopped by Charlie Manley. And with 12:30 left to go, this might be the last couple minutes of David Riche's Laker career. The Blue Devils now escape the zone off the stick of Jacob Haynes, and he'll enter in with some speed. Looking for a pass, and a shot blocked in front off the stick of Ethan Kurbis. The sophomore's got 5 goals on his campaign so far this season. Back cross for Manley, shot blocked in front and just goes wide as Emerson lays a hit on Gamache. Gamache knocked down again, and we'll get our first penalty of the game on Emerson, and a call that, if that's the first call you're going to make, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. I think we've seen a couple that were a little bit more severe than that one, as you see the crowd not too happy as Emerson goes to the box. And as we take a look at this Fredonia power play, only 20% on the year. That's 4th in the SUNYAC, but just a year ago, they were at 27.5%, which was best in the SUNYAC. And we know Oswego State struggled a little bit on the penalty kill, getting better lately, but especially watch shots from the point that David Riche, he struggled early on. That's why Kozakowski took his place. So we'll see if he can kind of answer when you have a guy like Tracy and a guy like Manley ripping shots from the point.
And Manley's got a really heavy shot, and this year he leads the team defense in goals, points, and power play goals, with 7 power play goals leading the team so far this season, 7 of his 10 goals on the year. Kirby's enters the zone on Carter Allen, steered aside behind the net as Vance picks it up, and he's knocked off the puck. And now we'll get a penalty here, and maybe not a makeup call, but it looks like we'll be skating 4 aside for the next minute 34.
Yeah, and I remember last night we had a 4-on-4 situation where we thought the benefit would go to the Lakers, and it ends up being a goal resulting for Buffalo State. So now another chance to go 4-on-4 for the Lakers. They get the face-off down in the Fredonia defensive zone, and they'll send that 4 people they usually send for the 4-on-4 minus Zizek. They're going to go Gillespie, Broman, Allen, and Vance. So a little bit more size to the 4-on-4 than we saw last night when the Lakers had the opportunity.
As you see there, Kurbis sitting in the penalty box for the Fredonia Blue Devils, just 26 seconds into his own power play. So the Lakers will get about 26 at the end of this 4-on-4. As the Lakers win the draw. Back for Vance, looking for a one-timer. Back over for Broman at the circle. Shot saved by Rosen, and no rebound there. Of course, Emerson's penalty was deemed to be a cross-checking, and it sounds like that Kurbis penalty is going to be a roughing call, so a surprising one there as it was during the play.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Very interesting to call a roughing call during a play. Usually that's something you see after the whistle, but what I really like about that first Lakers shot by Travis Broman, Mike Gillespie right down there battling for a rebound opportunity.
Broman picks it back up along the half wall, back down low for Gillespie. Looking for a shot, a pass out in front, but it's deflected by Gamache. Broman with it now, behind the net, trying to cut around for the wraparound. Puck in front, no one home. Vance picking up at the circle, and he'll slow things down, and this kind of feels like a Lakers power play despite it being 4-4. Vance with a shot, rebound out in front, and no one home for the Lakers, and now it looks like it's the Blue Devils trying to go to work 2-on-2. Vance battling now alongside Kalu. Vance corrals it in the slot, and now we'll slow things down and look for a stretch pass for Gillespie. He has him on a breakaway, end of his shift, cuts in on a backhand, back out in front, and with no one home for the Lakers, the Blue Devils look to go the other way. And now sticking with it now is Jacob Haynes. Cuts up on Novik, but a good job by him to stick with it.
Great defensive play there on the Blue Devils' best player by Max Novik. Great job manning his zone.
2-on-2, DeCarlo with it out the circle. Leaves it for Pissarro. Shot blocked in front. And again, we'll go back and forth once more as Fredonia gets a rush 2-on-2.
Really like the pace here, 2-on-2. Sorry, Matt, but I really like how both teams are really attacking this 4-on-4, knowing that this is a really good chance to generate some good offense.
Yeah, and Haynes' shot easily saved by Riche here with 10:24 left to go in the second period. 22 seconds left to go on that 4-on-4, and again, we'll have about nearly a 30-second power play for the Lakers once Mitch Emerson gets out of the penalty box.
Yeah, and we'll see if the Lakers can win this faceoff. Big draw here. As I mentioned, set plays have been tough for David Riche, but a big faceoff win that time for Anthony Pissarro.
Antonucci gets the puck on the near side. He'll let it go for DeCarlo, who seems to reach a new gear of speed and play as DeCarlo gets over Pissarro. Looking for a chance. DeCarlo slides right into the net, head first, and we'll get a stoppage in play here. And with the stoppage in play, we'll send it down to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
DeCarlo going right into the net. They'll have to fix that. But anyway, the goaltending situation is going to be a tricky one. Now, Fredonia has everything to lose here. If they lose tonight or draw, they will not make it to the SUNYAC tournament. But Oswego has that 2 seed on lock. So could they afford to lose? Yes. Do they want to? No, because they want the momentum. Now, we have David Riche in net right now, but Cedric Hansen will want to get some minutes too going forward. All right, guys, back to you up in the press box.
Thank you, Mike, as the Fredonia Blue Devils win the neutral zone draw. And just another score update for you here as the Lakers establish a bit of a power play here. 20 seconds left to go. It's Morrisville gives up a goal to tie the game 1 apiece between Morrisville and Plattsburgh. Again, the winner of that one will be going to the playoffs, and there's a whole bunch of other scenarios that Luke lined out earlier on Twitter as well. So as Broman enters the zone here, no high sticking call there. He'll slow things up here with 5 seconds to go on the power play. Gillespie with it now behind the net. He'll try to chip it to Zizek on the other side. Couldn't quite find it, but a great keep by Antonucci. Kurbis back on the ice, full strength there as Novik gets it back for Antonucci. Back down low, back in front, and a chance, and it just stays on the goal line. Not quite sure how that didn't go in as the Blue Devils iced the puck.
What a save by Rosen that time. He had to go full split once again. You see Josh Zizek slamming his stick, and that's, I think, the 3rd time that Rosen's made just an incredible save to keep this game tied at 1 apiece. And a play before there, you mentioned how good of a keep that was by Tyler Antonucci in the zone as we take a look at the replay. Great shot from Broman, kind of got the deflection, and then full split keeping that puck out of the net. But if Antonucci didn't keep that puck in, Kurbis would have had a breakaway the other way. So great job by Tyler Antonucci.
Sullivan with a chance off the draw. We saw him score a goal last night off the draw. and stopped there by Rosen. Again, 9:15 left to go here in the second period. It looks like Rosen's slow to get up. Maybe he might have got a stick to a body part. Not quite sure there. Maybe a hand or the midsection as he's still kind of covering in the butterfly position.
Yeah, that's
referee checking on him, and he's slower to get up.
Obviously, it looks like he'll stay in the game. That's definitely something to watch. A guy in Rosen that's a bigger goaltender, but he's so good getting down low. So if that's an injury towards maybe the leg injury or the midsection, that's going to make it a little bit tougher to get down in that butterfly.
Definitely, as Molinaro gets the puck off the draw, trying for a through the legs pass, but it's intercepted by the Blue Devils. Whitman with it now entering the zone, firing a pass up and into the glass. Now a chance out in front, as was Kalu looking to find his own teammate, but couldn't do so. Back to the point for Johnson, slows things down, shot, misses the net by a couple inches there, and the Blue Devils go back to work. Point shot by Martin just goes wide. Looked like it might have been deflected out in front as it soars behind the net. And now Tyler Curry will try to escape the zone.
I like those big point shots from Johnson and then Martin, but kind of whistled them wide. If they could have got those on net, there's a lot of traffic out there in front of both goaltenders in the second period.
Curry jumping in on the offense as the defender. Knockdown was Molinaro, no call there as Curry goes to work. Still battling now, he gets to Kirkby behind the net. Trying to either get it out in front, gets it to Sullivan now. Back to the point, back across for Curry. Curry slows things down, fires a shot, tipped by Molinaro, couldn't get through. As Kirkby almost stood up by his man, but not a big hit there as the Blue Devils escape the zone. Gregory Lee will fire it in and around the boards, and with 8:10 left to go in the second period, Richey's still out there as he plays the puck.
Yeah, you think Coach Ed Gosick probably wants to give Richey a lead on his senior night before he pulls in, but we'll see kind of what the decision is. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe David Richey makes his way to the third period. You never know if the thought is to give full playing time or what, as Cedric Hansen, of course, looking on. And bad play there for the Lakers. They were a couple of feet off sides, and they had to cycle back.
And the Lakers, the skate hits the linesman, so the Blue Devils can't get it in deep, but they'll try again once more here as McCabe picks up the puck in his own end. Passing a pass cross out for Chandler Judd. He has the lone goal for the Blue Devils here. It's the game tying goal that happened earlier in this period. And he'll chip it in on Richey. Plays the puck alive over for Carter Allen, looking for Tanner Spink at the circle. Tanner Spink will escape the zone and get it over for Derek Brown, trying to fire it in. Can't quite do so, but he finally does get it past the skates of Gamache. Spink intercepts as the Lakers go off for a line change behind the net, loses the puck, and now he'll battle again to try to get it. Vance does a good job keeping the puck in and gets it back over for Spink, or rather that's Pissarro, who fires it back down low for DiCarlo. DiCarlo will battle alongside his man Hugo Gamache, and Gamache wins that one momentarily as he looks to escape the zone. Chips it up and over, and Carter Allen can't keep it in, but he maintains possession. And with DiCarlo hitting that puck and 6:51 remaining, we'll get an offside call here on the Lakers.
Yeah, as we look on the big scoreboard now, 4-1 lead for Geneseo. Brockport able to tally on in the second period, but they've got a large mountain to climb against Geneseo. So, of course, we'll keep an eye on that. And still a 1-1 game in Plattsburgh between Morrisville State and Plattsburgh State. And in our game here, I think these last 6 minutes and 51 seconds are big for both teams. I think if this game can go into the locker room 2-1 in either team's favor, as another uncharacteristic offsides play there by the Lakers as Gillespie a couple of feet off.
Yeah, it looked like the Lakers made a move at the blue line, forcing Gillespie offside. We'll get another go here, 6:46 remaining. That Zeisig line staying out there, and they haven't generated quite a bit of offense this period, but I think they've done a good job over the last 5-6 games or so.
They have, especially obviously that Morrisville game. It's a Morrisville team, not great defensively, but anytime you can shut out a team 11-0 in back-to-back games is huge.
Roman keeps it in as Zeisig was just able to remain onside, but instead Fredonia will chip it back out. Gillespie picks it up, waiting for Zeisig to get onside, and Broman does a good job holding up and waiting for Zeisig to get onside into the zone, but Fredonia will be able to clear it out, and no icing there as Richey has to touch it up.
Yeah, the Blue Devils are really meeting the Lakers right at that blue line, not allowing them to see so many sloppy zone entries. That's because of this heavy forecheck being applied by Fredonia.
Lakers bench wanted a tripping call as Zeisig was knocked down. He knocks down a man of his own. Now Broman has a chance if he can maintain possession. Broman at the circle has a chance. He's knocked down, penalty called. And now it looks like the Lakers will go 2 minutes here with 6 minutes remaining. They'll get a 2-minute power play.
Yeah, just a moment before, I think the reason why the Blue Devils are complaining is because Josh Zeisig laid a big hit right in front of the Lakers bench, but it will be Fredonia going to the box here. It's going to be Johnson heading to the box. We take a look at the replay here. Broman using his speed and Johnson just diving and taking out the skates of Travis Broman. And if you're Johnson, you know, you want to make that diving play, but at the same time, Broman really did not have a good angle on that one. And we get to a real full look at this Oswego State power play. They were abbreviated their first opportunity.
Yeah, maybe a penalty Johnson didn't want to take as Curry picks it up, Back across ice pass for Passero as the second power play units out there for the Lakers. We'll get another stoppage and play for a hand pass. So we'll get that outside of the defensive zone of SUNY Fredonia. But again, for this Lakers power play coming into tonight, they came in at a 24.2% clip last season of 26.7, and both those marks good for second in the SUNYAC.
Yeah, all that talk about the Lakers struggling on the power play to start the year, you know, you knew they'd figure it out, and now they're sitting 15th in the country on the power play. And right now we get a look at their second unit. Kind of an errant play there by Tyson Kirkby. He slid across and used the hand pass to try to get it back to Passero. So a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake there by Kirkby on the power play.
Yeah, this is a power play that's scored for in every game since I believe the Cortland game was the first to start that streak. So it's been pretty much the entire semester. They've definitely figured things out as the coaching staff tried to keep telling us, you know, we're waiting to get those bounces, and they've, well, certainly finally hit their bounces the last couple games. Vance entering the zone, bodied alongside by Craig McCabe of this penalty-killing effort for the Blue Devils. 1:28 remaining on the power play for the Lakers as they keep this top unit out there. Shot from the point by Curry. Rebound for Emerson and scores! Mitch Emerson on senior day, and the Lakers take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and Mitch Emerson giving a big thank you because that pass was, as it looks like, some skirmishing in front of the net. I'm not sure what's going on exactly, but for Mitch Emerson, they might be waving off this goal as the referees are going to have to talk this one over. And I believe that, Matt, they might be taking that goal off the board.
Yeah, it looked like the Fredonia Blue Devils were complaining over a goal interference type penalty, and it looks like we'll get the referee signal there, no goal.
Yeah, and we'll have to see exactly what happened. Kirkby looks like he's the one arguing, so I'm not sure if he made contact with Rosen. We'll look on the replay here. This is going to be a great opportunity to see what happened. You saw the play right here in front of that. Great pass in front, and it looks right there, but it looked like Kirkby got dragged into Rosen. I'm not sure exactly why that was called, and Emerson was right on the doorstep to hammer it home.
And it looked like Kirkby's stick was in the legs or battling for a rebound, maybe interfering with Rosen in that manner. And again, Gosick maybe not too happy about it, trying to shout at the referees. He comes down now onto the bench, really not
almost
happy.
Onto the ice is Coach Gosick right now, and he's a guy that you're not used to yelling at the referees, but to me, we saw in that replay, it really seemed like Kirkby was tangled up. It looked like it was mutual contact in front of Rosen, and a good opportunity there from Emerson. So we'll see, and they're going to keep that goal off the board, of course, and that's really a big momentum shift as this crowd, as well as the Lakers bench, is not happy with that call.
And again, Gosick not happy. It looks like that's Passero complaining as well, and I think Gosick wanted an initial kind of explanation, as it looks like he's still kind of talking out there on the bench. Still, Lakers do have 1:19 left to go on the power play, looking to score a goal of their own.
And an important note that I was going to use before that whole debacle, Kirkby was the guy that scored the game-winning goal in the first meeting. Game was tied at 4, 40 seconds left in the game, and on the power play, Kirkby hammered home the game winner. And that time, obviously, Kirkby's efforts lead to a no goal, is the call by the referees here inside MCC.
Broman loses possession of the puck as he entered the zone, but still, and he's knocked down hard. Fans wanting a penalty, and looks like Passero knocking his stick, wanting one as well. It looked like Broman was falling to the ice as he was hit, as now DeCarlo has a chance for Broman. Back across, and what a save by Rosen. Oh my goodness, stuns Gillespie, who makes the shot.
Someone get ESPN on the phone line. That's SC Top 10 worthy by Anton Rosen. Absolute highway robbery of Mike Gillespie, going post to post, gloved it. Not today, Mike Gillespie. Anton Rosen has been spectacular. Look at this replay. Rosen post to post, and oh, he took that right away from Mike Gillespie, sprawling out and using that glove. What a save by Rosen.
Yeah, a couple times he's made some robberies, as now the Lakers back on the power play. 45 seconds, or 35, I should say, left remaining. Top unit out there now is DeCarlo, Zyzik out there as well, and Broman. Point for Novik, slows things down, and he'll settle it over for Gillespie on the far side circle. Back down low, back cross for Zyzik. DeCarlo in the circle, firing a shot. Good save by Rosen, as he's maintaining good positional excellence, as Fredonia cannot exit the zone. 15 seconds left to go or so on the power play, as Novik passes it across for Gillespie on the far side. Slap pass, DeCarlo's stick is tied up, and he finally lets go, as it looks like he was battling with either Litmansky or Jacob Haynes. I couldn't quite make it, or that was Kalu, the number there, as Fredonia goes back to full strength.
Yeah, it looked like Broman's stick got tangled up there, but I think both players kind of were tangled up there, so probably a good no call, and it's been an interesting last couple of minutes here inside MCC.
It sounds like the crowd coming alive here after a big hit laid by Mitch Emerson. And Luke, power play expires for the Lakers, but they had some really good looks.
They did. One obviously almost resulting in goal, but other than that, really good shot attempts. And the last one they had by DeCarlo, maybe not the best angle in the world.
Yeah, and with 3:32 remaining after that stoppage play, we'll send it to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
Originally, we thought it was going to be a goal, but there was either an illegal hit or some type of interference with the goaltender. But either way, that was a crucial penalty kill for Fredonia. They are still in this, and they are still alive. Now what they have to do is create some offense, get a pass out of the neutral zone, down, dump it in behind the net, and try and disrupt David Richet. He is going to be that main factor if they want to win or lose this game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mike. And a chance out in front, sticked aside by Carter Allen. And knocking down his man was Max Novick, it appears to be, or rather it's Carson Vance, but no penalty there. Again, referees calling a bit of a loose game, not a lot of penalties to either side, each taking about a penalty for the Lakers and 2 for Fredonia.
Would not have been surprised if they called that one on Vance. Looked like maybe an illegal hit there, but no call, we play on.
And the Lakers still have it in the Blue Devils zone. Jody Sullivan battling alongside McCabe. Behind the net here of Rosen, who's been just spectacular the last couple shifts here, especially on that power play. Pissarro has a chance, and a quick save by Rosen as he gets down to that butterfly in a hurry.
Yeah, and there's so many good goalies in the SUNYAC. I mean, you mentioned a guy like Modica, a guy like Schneider with Brockport, but Antoine Rosen today, for me, has really climbed into that conversation. He's having a stellar night, really trying to will his Blue Devils into the playoffs.
And a stellar season, posting a .920 save percentage so far this year, .916 on his career as he played a couple games last year. Of course, Fredonia had a good goaltender in Bogart just a couple seasons ago as Molinaro enters the zone. Back looking for a pass across, but McCabe blocks that one. And Bogart, if I remember correctly, must have been standing in at 6'6" for Fredonia, so they've got a pair of huge goaltenders over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Bogart, I think, was the most hated goaltender in SUNYAC history inside MCC. The student section was not a big fan of his, as he would kind of play up to their antics. And I remember a couple years ago, he got a tripping penalty, so you don't see a goalie penalty too often.
Max Blitz trying to escape his zone. That was Greg Lee. Just able to, so Mac Lewis lays another big hit. Looked like he almost had some head contact on Letmansky, but again, the Lakers play on. Dumping it in was Molinaro as he goes off for a line change. Tanner Spink battling alongside Charlie Manley, but he's the only one in deep. So shanking a pass was Kalu, and he turns it over to Tyler Curry in his own end. Tyler Curry just able to escape the zone to keep Fredonia at bay, and now Zizek looking to pounce on the puck. But first to get on that one is Hugo Gamache.
And I'm all about physicality. I love the hard play from Mac Lewis, but you've just got to be careful. It's kind of a tough play when you've seen him a couple times almost raise that elbow towards the head. So you got to be careful if you're Mac Lewis when you lay those hits.
Judd picking up the puck now behind the net, battling with McMillan. And Gillespie intercepts that one as the Blue Devils were going off for a change. They couldn't really establish much of a forecheck. Pass to Zizek. He's got Broman 2-on-2. Broman with a shot. Rebound out in front. Zizek looking for it. Can't find it. Anton Rosen knocked down. Still no whistle. As Rosen's slow to get to his skates, but back the way comes Dimakopoulos. Dimakopoulos has a chance. Richet makes the stop, and a dangerous play there as he was dangerously close to his own goal line.
Yeah, that play, he just kind of cut pushing in towards David Richet, and eventually the puck goes right out in front of the net. And on the other end, as we see Broman get taken down, no call.
No call there. It looks like the fans want one as Kirkby now enters the zone with Derek Brown. Kirkby loses the puck, and back the other way comes Ethan Kirkbiss, excuse me. Back the other way, 30 seconds left now in the second period. Lakers thought they had a goal to extend their lead to 1, but it was whistled dead on the power play. And again, Gillespie had another chance on that same power play, and he was robbed by Rosen. Has another chance, and Richet makes the initial save. Puck loose, and Richet pounced on it. And Antonucci's knocked down by Jacob Haynes, the leading scorer for this Fredonia squad. And we haven't seen too much of him in terms of offense production, but there he is battling, trying to get his team back in this game.
Yeah, there's just been so much physicality. You saw it there by Haynes, a guy that stands at 6'2". His lines mates, Curvis and Tracy, both 6'3", respectively, as it's gonna looks like Haynes is gonna go to the box for that late hit on Antonucci, and that's big because even if the Lakers can't get that offense in 17 seconds, they will carry that penalty over. So maybe a penalty that was influenced by the crowd a little bit. Didn't look like there was a call initially. As you look here on a replay, a big hit late that time. And we mentioned Mac Lewis kind of got to be careful as he got up there. And look at this, another big save by Rosen in front with all the traffic in the world. And that was the
no-goal call, we should say.
The no-goal call, excuse me.
As Emerson had a chance, but again, whistled dead. And with 15 seconds left to go, the power play goes to work. Novik fires back for Gillespie on the far side circle. Back down low for Zizek, has DeCarlo at the circle, and looks like the puck rose up on him, but Zizek to the net, fires a shot, easy save for Rosen, and Manley harassed by Zizek. The play will just about expire. McCabe will circle that one behind his own net. And after 40 minutes of play, the Lakers tied with the Blue Devils by a score of 1-1.
Yeah, only 2 goals on the board as Zizek tangled up before he headed to the locker room that time. Broman had to steer him away, but you know, only a goal there by Chandler Judd in that second period. But that was an exciting period, a lot of hitting, a lot of physicality, and you can tell for both these teams, this game means a lot. Fredonia obviously looking to clinch the SUNYAC playoffs, and for Oswego State, as they have a little captain's meeting here, of course, trying to win on senior night.
And again, this feels like a game where the referees maybe haven't established so much of a discipline for both sides. You see Mac Lewis taking a couple runs, not necessarily dirty hits, but certainly they could go ugly if an elbow skips up or a head kind of drops down.
I think the issue has been really just inconsistency. You know, you got to kind of clean up what you want to call and what you don't want to call.
Coming up next after the break is the Intermission Report with Ben, Kinney, and the guys. So don't go anywhere. You're watching Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP 10.
And welcome back into Hockey Night in Oswego here on WTOP. The second Intermission Report, Ben Kinney, Nick Ketter, and Zach Case with you here from the Perches. We take a look back here on senior night of the second period, and let's look at all these seniors graduating this year for this Oswego team. Anthony Pissarro, big name, he leads the team in points. Mitch Emerson, David Richer, just to name a few. You know, Jody Sullivan even, and the list goes on. These are all guys that have made a big impact, not just this season, but in seasons past. How are they doing tonight? Obviously, we have Joey Scorpio with an assist.
Well, you have Joey Scorpio with an assist. You have Molinaro, I believe, with an assist as well. Those guys are really looking to get on the board. And you see the play throughout the game. Molinaro also going to the box. He's trying to play really physical. Jody Sullivan had a few big hits. There's just a lot of seniors on this team. You see Zizek with an open opportunity. Those guys are trying to get on the board here in this one.
Let's take a look at the second period summary. What do you guys take away from this?
Well, I definitely look at the shot totals, 10-35. Richer hasn't really been tested, only 14 saves so far. Of course, power plays, both haven't really gotten on the scoreboard for the team, but have gotten opportunities. Then you look at the face-offs, 24-14. Oswego really controlled the second period, but coming back, there's a few moments where Fredonia really took advantage of the opportunities they got, and that led to that one goal up on the board.
Now, we look at that one goal, and what do you take away from that one goal? We'll look at it here in a second, but what do you think broke down for Oswego to give up that goal?
Initially, Fredonia kind of came out of the gates in the second period swinging, and they put the Lakers back on their heels. And as you see there, they got an opportunity, just kind of threw it in front of the net, and Chandler Judd picked up the pieces. So the Lakers really couldn't get a stick on it in front of the net. They couldn't clear the puck away, and David Richer was kind of left there helpless.
Yeah, it was a little mental mistake there by the Lakers as Chandler Judd did get his second goal of the season. You can't really have those minor mishaps because, of course, now we're at a 1-1 hockey game going into third period. And if you're Oswego, that's not the spot you want to be at here in the Marano Campus Center.
And now let's take a look at the goaltending from tonight so far, and taking a look at David Richer first. Some of the just look at his stats for tonight. What do you take away from this?
Well, definitely the head-to-head stats here, 9 saves made compared to the 34 for Rosen. Rosen had a couple key saves, especially that one on the power play with the glove save, but season totals so far almost even. And then tonight in general, obviously Rosen with more saves here in the game so far. He's really had a stellar night, and he's kept the Fredonia Blue Devils in this game.
What are your thoughts on Richer, Nick, so far tonight?
Well, David Richer, as Zach said earlier, he hasn't really been tested too much. You've seen him he made a couple saves in this game, but when he had traffic in front, this is the concern here for the Lakers, he couldn't make the save. And that's kind of what took him out of the net in the season earlier. So he's going to look to make a couple basic saves in this third period, try to get back into the swing of things for him.
Now let's take a look at Anton Rossen. He's made a few really good saves tonight, guys.
Yeah, Anton Rosen made a huge save here on the power play. You see, his glove's been active. He's been making sure that there's not really a lot of rebounds out in front of him, but the key opportunities, the odd man rushing that he's had faced, has been really good for the Blue Devils. I'd like to see him stay on that pace that he's been having. But if the Blue Devils stay in this game and he plays like he's been playing, I think it's going to be a good third period coming up.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a quick break. When we return, we're going to look back again some more at the second period and look forward to the third period here on Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP. And welcome back into Hockey Night in Oswego here on WTOP as the Fredonia Blue Devils tied with your Oswego State Lakers 1-1 after 2 periods here at the Wheelhouse. Ben Kenny alongside Nick Ketter, Zach Case. Looking back at the second period. Now, should we be tied right now? Should we be 1-1?
I think absolutely not. You had 2 opportunities in the first period that you should have put away. But Anton Rosen has been good, but the Lakers have really, they had this game, it should be 3-1 right now in my opinion. Also, David Richer kind of struggled in front of the net. His defense didn't really help him out there. Maybe it should be 3-0, but the Lakers, you got to forget about all that at this point. It's got to be a new game in this third period.
Yeah, if you're Oswego, you definitely needed to capitalize on the opportunities you've had. Rosen's really stellar for the Blue Devils, like you said. But yeah, moving into the third period, you definitely got to wash that all away and come in for a clean slate here for the next 20.
Now, looking at the next 20, do you think we will see Cedric Hansen coming out for the Lakers and starting the third period in net? Obviously, he's a senior on senior night. What are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a tough decision for head coach Ed Gosick, but I don't think we'll see Cedric Hansen if this game stays this close. You don't want to take Richer's flow away in this game. He hasn't done completely terrible. It's still 1-1. You don't want to take him out of his flow in this game, and putting a new goalie in this game, it could be disastrous.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
I'm definitely thinking he will eventually come in. I think Oswego's going to come out. They want to score some goals here, obviously. They're going to be on the power play, so I think they're going to get some quality opportunities. Maybe Hansen will step in later on in the period, but it is his senior night too, and Richer hasn't been all too terrible, so we'll see here coming into the third period.
Now let's fast forward to next Saturday. Who do you think will be getting the start in net for Oswego? Do you think they will go with Kozakowski, who has been solid in net, or do you think they will go with Richer, who has a little bit more experience?
I think it will be Stephen Kozakowski. He's been really good. And I know earlier in the year, head coach Ed Gosick said they were going to ride whoever has the hot hand, and I think Stephen Kozakowski is that guy right now.
And I think they've been doing that all season, like you said, Nick. I think Kozakowski will definitely get the start, and this may be the last time we see David Richer in the pipes for the Lakers.
Now, let's look at just the physicality from this last period. We mentioned it in the first intermission. We're going to mention it again. What are your thoughts on this, and how dangerous is this for us? We're going to be playing like this the playoffs next week and risking injury to big-name guys.
Well, I think the Lakers just like to play this way. Everybody who comes into the Marano Campus Center knows that the Lakers are going to try to beat you up for 3 periods. And Fredonia coming out trying to match that physicality, the Lakers, they're not going to back down. I think this is going to carry over. I don't think the Lakers right now are worried about injuries. I think they want to win this game.
One ad that I really want to talk about is Mac Lewis. He's kind of been almost like a Mac truck out there for the Lakers, but he's really had a stellar performance getting added here this second semester, and he's really been a big part of this physicality for the Lakers.
Now, why do you think Fredonia is playing this chippy?
Well, Fredonia, they have to play this chippy right now. They have to play this aggressive. They know they can match Oswego's physicality. They have to win this game to get into the SUNYAC. I think they're just putting it all out there.
Yeah, I think Oswego's really playing their game, and they're bringing Fredonia into this style of hockey that Oswego's always played. So if you're Fredonia, maybe you want to try to work out of this system. But looking at around the SUNYAC right now, we talked about Buffalo State winning against Cortland. Second intermission, Plattsburgh up 2-1 over Marshall. That's big for them because Plattsburgh will move on with a win or a tie. And then 6-2 in Brockport. Geneseo with the victory here. And obviously 1-1 here in the Marano Campus Center.
All right. Well, we are going to take a break. When we return, we're going to send it back up to Mike Watling and Luke Owens in the Steve Levy press box. We'll be back for the postgame show. We'll see you then on WTOP's Hockey Night.
Welcome back to the Marano Campus Center Ice Arena. Lakers here at the start of the third period tied with the SUNY Fredonia Blue Devils by a score of 1-1. You're watching on WTOP 10. Matt Watling joined alongside Luke Owens, and with it being senior night for the men's hockey team, here at WTOP 10, we'd like to recognize some seniors of our own that are working on the broadcast. They've done a really great job all season long helping us out. And there you'll see a couple of our own: Andrew Gilbert, Billy Cronin, Chris Sanudo working from bottom to top, Alex Lance Gasparos, Curtis Cady, Daniel Corlett, tonight's director, and Tara O'Donovan, our lovely producer tonight. Done a great job all season long. All of them helping us out here in the control room and also helping us out on the producing board. And there some of them are. Dan giving a little wave, Tara there, and Alex as well, a whole bunch of them. It really helped us tremendously as we await puck drop for the final period of regular season action.
Yeah, and of course, for the Lakers and their seniors, this is it, the final 20 minutes, and David Riche still in net for the Lakers. We'll see how they handle it. We'll see if Cedric Hansen maybe gets some action in this third period, but on the other side for Fredonia, Anton Rosen, 22 saves in the second period alone, and we saw a few that were absolutely spectacular. He is the reason why Fredonia is still in this hockey game and has 20 minutes to try to clinch a spot in the SUNYAC playoffs. The tie won't do, Matt. They need 2 points here tonight.
And a couple of around the SUNYAC updates for you. Plattsburgh entering the third period leads Morrisville 2-1, and Brockport trailing Geneseo 6-2. So if Brockport wants that 3 seed and try to avoid Geneseo in that second round, assuming they'd win, they've got to get on the board and in a hurry as they're entering the third as well.
Yeah, losing a 4-goal lead would be a miracle on ice of its own over there between Brockport and Geneseo. Looks like Geneseo has that game all but locked up.
Gillespie with it now at the circle, back for Novick. Hesitates over for DeCarlo again, 1:20 left of power play time here. Coming over from that second period, back across Isaac for a chance, shanks that one and just goes wide as he had a tough angle, but again, didn't look like he got much on that. Fredonia clears the zone here, 1:10 left to go on the power play for the Lakers as they reset shop here. Max Novick behind the net.
Yeah, it's always big when you enter a period on the power play to get it going early, and that time a good shot by Isaac, but he kind of took a weird angle on it, maybe fanned on it a little bit more than he would have liked to, and now Oswego State trots out their second unit.
Novick had a chance as he weaved in all alone and still managed to keep it in momentarily. This was Novick as his body laying on the ground pushes that one out of play, but DeCarlo back in. DeCarlo looking for Kirkby, can't quite find him. Gets back to the slot is DeCarlo, turned around a couple times, and finally he loses the puck to Tyler Ryder. Ryder turning that one back around, looking to escape the zone is Tommy Martin, but Curry does a great job keeping it in as the second unit starts to file in here for the Lakers. Tyler Curry leads it off for Pissarro. Cross-ice pass looking for Emerson in the slot, but couldn't quite connect on the deflection as Vance will slow things down here with 20 seconds to go. Pissarro looking for Vance, can't quite find him, but Vance picks it back up and will slow things down for Curry. Back to Pissarro at the circle. Shot blocked in front, or maybe Rosen got a piece of it, but nonetheless, it doesn't hit the back of the net.
Yeah, and Kirkby once again there just creating a ton of traffic in front of the net. The first time obviously was not to the Lakers' favor, but that time just getting a good screen in front of Rosen.
Curry for Pissarro, shot scores! Anthony Pissarro, a no-doubter, and the Lakers take a 2-1 lead.
How fitting on senior night. Anthony Pissarro, he wears the A on his jersey, and he's a guy that, as a transfer from Buffalo State, has been the ultimate Laker. As we take a look at the replay here, Anthony Pissarro, right as the time starts to expire on the power play, he's just gonna grip it and rip it from the point past Rosen. What a shot, a seeing eye shot by Anthony Pissarro, and what a play by the Lakers alternate captain to give them the 2-1 lead.
And a shot we're not used to seeing from Pissarro, more known as a passer. Entering tonight's game, he's got 113 points, 82 of them coming off assists, a great distributor, and a sneaky, dangerous shot there on the one-timer.
Yeah, and I wonder what this does for the status of David Riche in this game. Now has the lead.
And back across, coming for Fredonia, Jacob Haynes has been pretty quiet. Shot from the point, deflected up and along into the half wall, as Sullivan will chip it up and out of play. Again, for next couple shifts after scoring a goal, you want to keep the pressure on Rosen and off your defensive efforts.
Yeah, and you want to see your guys cycling in. Good job there by Derek Brown to come in right onto the ice, using his speed that time to make the play, as now Spink trying to make a play the other way. But again, a great goal there by Anthony Pissarro.
Spink chips it back in. Rosen comes out to play the puck, and puck dangerously close as now Jacob Haynes will chip it up and gets it back along the corner boards. The assist coming from Tyson Kirkby and the other senior, Tyler Curry. So a pair of seniors get another pair of points. Back in comes Gregory Lee, one-on-one with Antonucci. Shot just goes wide. Looks like he had a little bit of room there on Riche's far side on the glove side, but no dice there. Back around for Lee, looking for Martin at the point. Almost misplays that one as it's blocked by Novik into the boards. Letmansky slowing things down, or trying to, as Novik intercepts. They'll slow things down, cutting towards the slot, and Lee dangerously close to intercepting that one and getting a decent chance.
Yeah, and quickly back to that pass from Tyler Curry. He's a guy that's really stepped up offensively. We talked about it in the beginning of the game, how his production offensively has really created another element, especially on that second power play unit, and a good job there by Curry just finding Pissarro, and Pissarro obviously was lined up to fire that one home.
Fredonia trying to escape, can't do so. DiCarlo looking for Emerson, and just behind him was the pass, and Allen knocks his man down in the neutral zone. Again, slowing things down here is Vance behind the net. 16-20 left to go. Lakers nursing a 1-goal lead. Pass off for Pissarro, looking for the second of the period, but he can't quite corral that puck as he plays it now along the boards.
Yeah, it looked like Pissarro took his eye off the puck for just a second there, and it trickled just past the stick. Would have had a breakaway opportunity.
Carter Allen just keeping it in, but gets it over to Manley of Fredonia, and he'll elevate it up and out of play. Emerson back around, trying to chip it in into the Fredonia zone, but they'll finally just clear it and go off for a line change as Richer comes out to play the puck. Again, we thought we'd see Cedric Hansen for a little bit this game, and through 45 minutes of play, we haven't seen him just yet on the ice, but Richer, the other senior for this Lakers team, has gotten all the time on the ice. Puck flipped up and out of play as now Fredonia tries to go to work. Jacob Haynes passes a pass around for Ethan Kurbis. Kurbis back to the point, trying to find Max Blitz, who pinches in, and Broman has a step if he's battling alongside Victor Tracy. Broman held by Tracy, no call there, and a shot by Broman, and a quick one at that, but a good save by Rosen as Richer heads to the bench, and we'll get a power play for the Lakers. And with this stoppage in play at 15:24 remaining, we'll send it to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
Thank you, guys. Well, you want to talk about the big senior storyline. There's Anthony Pissarro getting that goal. Tyler Curry on the assist along with Tyson Kirkby. But interestingly enough, for the first minute of the third period, Oswego played with 4 forwards out there and only 1 defenseman. And the momentum definitely carried into and out of the power play, and that's why they got that goal. But David Richer now has that brace, so we might see Cedric Hansen later on in this period. Thanks, guys. Back up to you.
And Victor Tracy takes the penalty, so we'll see another 4-on-1 power play opportunity for Oswego State. DiCarlo with a shot, blocked out in front. And now the Fredonia Blue Devils will clear it down the length of the ice over for Max Novik behind the net.
Yeah, big penalty kill here for Fredonia. They trail by 1, and coming off of a big momentum shift for the Lakers, they want to make sure they kill this penalty and don't allow too many good opportunities.
Gillespie picks it up, and he'll spin it around for Broman on the other side. Near side corner boards, Broman loses that battle, but tries to get over for Zizek and does. Broman battling alongside them as well. Gillespie intercepts, leaving for Novik, just able to keep it in the zone, and edge it over for DiCarlo. Gillespie fakes a shot, back cross for DiCarlo. One-timer, just missing the net. Had a wide open back door on the one-timer, but he couldn't connect. Novik with it now at center point. Over for Gillespie as they try to set things up here. 1:10 remaining on the power play. Gillespie at the circle for DiCarlo. Circle, shot off the post. What a chance. The goaltender's best friend keeps Fredonia's deficit to 1, and now Haynes has a chance the other way. DiCarlo, a good stick there to battle it and now knock it behind the net. Battling with Haynes as the Blue Devils are trying to change their penalty killers, and Haynes takes the seat and leads DiCarlo for an easy exit.
Yeah, not 1 but 2 hard shots by Alex DiCarlo. The second one, of course, hitting the post.
Lakers top unit heads to the bench as the second comes on here. 40 seconds to go. Curry with it now, creeping towards center point. Back down low for Pissarro. He's got a goal already tonight in the period. Cuts towards the slot. Now Vance, shot, saved by Rosen, and no rebound there. And the Lakers have 26 seconds remaining on this power play.
Yeah, as we see their setup here, Tyler Curry on the ice for the Lakers. Of course, he had that assist to Pissarro a couple of moments ago, so we'll see if maybe they draw something up here. And it's really an interesting power play unit for the Lakers. Guys like Kirkby, Emerson, obviously Pissarro is a point scorer, but other than that, really guys that are willing to go in front of the net, get gritty with it, as I like to say, and create that havoc in front of the net. So kind of an interesting second power play unit for the Lakers.
It is, and it really kind of works through Curry and Pissarro, something for Curry's sake. He's not really used to working the power play, working the offense through him, but for the last several games, he's done a great job activating offensively as Vance is trying to keep the puck in, and finally firing it out was Jasper Karikin-Barley of Fredonia's penalty killers.
Yeah, and for Tyler Curry getting acclimated to running that power play, there's no better defenseman to work with than Carson Vance, who obviously has been great on that power play as well. Yeah,
as Emerson, after the play, knocks Max Blitz down, and he gives Emerson a bit of a one-handed slash there. Blitz was looking for a penalty, but with no discipline there, he took it into his own hands.
Yeah, Fredonia bench has been active these past couple of minutes. They were upset a couple moments ago when down on the other end, Alex DiCarlo might have gotten away with the tripping call. As you mentioned, Matt, a Fredonia player kind of went down to the ice. So Fredonia trying to, a power play would definitely be big for them, as they've really had some trouble getting any sort of set offense, as that will go as a penalty.
It looks like it's a Sullivan either interference or cross check of some sort as he forces Jacob Haynes to the ice. So for Sullivan off the draw, maybe an unfortunate penalty to take. It looked like their sticks got tied up, but Sullivan going to the penalty box here for the Lakers, and we'll see this Fredonia power play that we didn't see too much of. Only one penalty on Oswego State so far against Emerson, but about 30 seconds later, it was Kurbis who took a penalty of his own to negate the rest of that power play.
Yeah, this is a team in Fredonia that's comfortable playing from behind. They trailed the Lakers 4-2 in their first meeting, came all the way back in the third period to tie it at 4 before eventually falling 5-4. So we'll see if they can get it going on the power play.
And this is a team that when trailing after one, they're still 4-3-1, which is above 500. So for Fredonia, very impressive numbers as they trailed after one here. And they're looking to come back and make it. Manley with a shot off the post. Just beat Riche, maybe 5-hole. But again, the post saves both goaltenders in this third period so far, as Vance trying to escape and finally does with the clear.
Yeah, that one definitely, I don't think Riche knew exactly where the puck was and hits off the post, but a good job recovering by David Riche back into the net. And they're a really sloppy play there once again by Haynes. He's really struggling here tonight.
And he's a guy that we kind of mentioned before the game. So dynamic offensively, so gifted. What have you kind of seen from him in terms of struggling?
I think when it comes to struggling, he hasn't had great puck control. His passing's been a touch off, and that time it's a move that you expect him to make, and he just loses control of the puck. So he's got to use that big frame more to his advantage. He's bigger than even a lot of the Oswego State defensemen.
Power play set back up, a cross-ice pass looking for Karik and Barley. He couldn't quite corral it. Now Spink has a chance. Spink's got a shorthanded goal already this season. We saw in the first semester, but couldn't generate much offense there, as he picks it up with 50 seconds left, and he'll try to enter the zone, and Emerson about a foot offside.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Emerson was doing there. He definitely was about a foot off sides, and I think that time maybe Spink got away with a little bit of a slash there, so we'll see. No penalty obviously going for the Lakers, but 49 seconds to go with this Sullivan penalty, so we'll see if the Lakers can kill it off here. Second unit out there for Fredonia. We haven't seen a lot of them, as Letmansky and Lewis getting tangled up before the puck even drops there.
Isaac here on the draw, playing with Mac Lewis, something that we're not necessarily used to seeing those two together, but again on the penalty kill. So you're trying to shift things up. Again, Sullivan in the penalty box, in which he's usually Isaac's line mate on this penalty kill, so throw Mac Lewis out there, see what he can do. Played college hockey up in Canada.
He will wreak havoc. I can tell you that for a fact, Matt. He's going to get his nose involved in these plays on the penalty kill.
And he chugs along. He's got a bit of an engine, so he's got a decent bit of speed. Once he can get going and take a little bit to get up that acceleration, he really gets going in a hurry. So as you see him here trying to battle alongside Letmansky, and knocking down him was Carter Allen, and Letmansky's slow to get up. And they blow the whistle there, and still not up is Letmansky. And now things are getting a little bit scarier as the two sides are pushing back and forth. The trainer rushed onto the ice. Letmansky's head hit the ice pretty hard on the play.
Yeah, that's a really scary hit. You see Letmansky moving a little bit, but they're going to wave out for another trainer. That's really a scary hit by Carter Allen, and I'm not sure if the hit was to the head, but as you mentioned, it might have been just Letmansky's head coming out to hit the ice, and that's definitely a very, very scary play to see. So we'll see if Letmansky is able to get up or not, and we'll take a look at the replay here as Letmansky kind of entered the zone. Carter Allen came right up and said hello to him, as you see him lay right there. It was a high hit, but Letmansky also kind of landed on that head or upper back area. So we'll see no penalty issued, but the referees are going to talk. We'll see if anything goes against Carter Allen, as the referees are talking it over right now. And Letmansky kind of starting to move his hand, which is a good sign, but again, still down on the ice, which is definitely a scary, scary situation.
Yeah, it looks like they're holding his neck in place, is the trainer over there from Fredonia. A really scary situation, a scary scene here. As you see, Matt Letmansky slow to get up, the sophomore for this Blue Devil squad. And he's a big guy coming in at 6'4", and it looks like we're going to bring the stretcher out here as the EMTs are going to come out onto the ice in a couple moments.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll take a quick break here on WTOP 10. We'll be right back.
Road cross.
Welcome back inside the Marano Campus Center Ice Arena. Matt Watling joined alongside Luke Owens, and again it was Matt Letmansky knocked down onto the ice by Carter Allen, and you see him there on a stretcher. With 11:34 left to go, we wait to see him taken off the ice, and again a really scary situation here inside the Marano Campus Center Ice Arena.
Yeah, obviously a situation you never want to see, and for Letmansky you obviously hope everything's going to be okay, as he's now on the stretcher. And Obviously, it looked like a very scary hit there as Lemansky hit the ice pretty hard, and we're going to wait here as they're going to have to wait before they start to move him. So again, just a very somber moment inside MCC. The crowd gave him a hand for a moment, but again, still stretcher still on the ice. So again, a very scary hit here as Oswego State and Fredonia State, both teams kind of out there. Some guys on a knee, of course, kind of paying their respects as we obviously hope everything with Lemansky is okay.
Yeah, again, it was more of the follow-through on the hitter, how Letmansky ended up landing as he kind of knocked his head onto the ice, and really a scary situation. Again, I think I saw his feet moving a little bit as he was lying on the ice, but again, it was almost immediately when the Fredonia training staff called for Elise Fitzsimmons of the Oswego State bench to bring her out onto the ice as well. You saw the Fredonia coach or trainer, I should say, holding his head a little bit in place, and there you see Coach Gosick and John Whitelaw on this senior night. Really just a deflating moment, really scary that goes beyond the game of hockey.
Yeah, and obviously, as you mentioned, a scary hit as maybe starting to get some movement going. And yeah, for all the players around, obviously a very sombering moment as you saw head coach Jeff Meredith for Fredonia a second ago looking obviously concerned there for his guy, and just a scary moment inside MCC, and definitely a very sombering one here on senior night as David Riche also down on a knee right now, Josh Zizek as well. So obviously both teams very concerned to making sure that Lemansky is okay.
Yeah, and as the finally kind of get him onto the ice, the backpack's somewhat back on for the EMTs working on him. Again, a good job by the training staffs and all of them getting out there in a hurry for Lemansky's sake. And again, a really scary landing off a hit from Carter Allen in which Lemansky's head kind of was the first main point of contact with the ice. So really, obviously a very hard surface. So kind of prayers going to Lemansky and as he waits to get transported off the ice, and Anton Rosen back in his net for Fredonia. As you see the coaching staff there. On the left, it's Jeff Meredith, and one of the most really well-respected coaches in all of D3 hockey, 45 all-time in wins, or top 45, I should say, as the stretcher's elevated, and they'll get Matt Letmansky out off the ice.
Yeah, and obviously a nice hand here for Lemansky, and looks like his head is being stabilized, kind of taped down there, so you kind of hope that Lemansky will be okay and gets a nice hand from this Oswego State crowd.
Yeah, and again, Fredonia, typically a team that travels pretty well, so there's a couple of their fans out here as well, and an especially big crowd for senior night. You've got the families of all 13 seniors out here. Maybe sometimes when it's a little bit too far for them to make the trip. You know, a lot of guys from whether it be Canada or up even Alaska and other places, so good to see a big packed crowd giving a standing ovation for Matt Letmansky, who's transported off the ice. And again, still 11:34 left to go here in this third period, and despite the scary situation and the lengthy timeout to help handle Matt Letmansky, there's still 16 seconds left of the Jody Sullivan penalty. And one thing to note is that there was no penalty on Carter Allen. It was a clean hit, but the landing again, when you kind of get off your feet as Letmansky did, and he landed really tough, no way to really control your landing, and that's really where the scary part of the situation came in.
Yeah, and of course, here we go, getting back into play. Always kind of weird after an injury like that, but still one-goal game here inside MCC.
That's right, and Fredonia wins the puck drop there, the faceoff, I should say, as Carson Vance knocks his man Manley down to the ice, and with 5 seconds left, Jody Sullivan will get out there onto the ice for the Lakers back to 5-on-5 strength. Sullivan off the ice now for Broman in favor of his place as he looks for a stretch pass all the way up and over, and that'll go down the length of the ice for an icing off the stick of Carson Vance.
Yeah, kind of an error there by Carson Vance, but not the worst thing in the world, because for the Lakers, you have fresh legs on the ice. Only had to kill off about 5 seconds of that power play. So for Fredonia, they still get to, they go 5-on-5, and now a big face-off here inside the Lakers' defensive zone.
It's Kalu on the draw with Zizek. Zizek wins it, but as Vance tried to play up to get the puck, he turns over for Fredonia's sake. Broman picks it up, trying to escape the zone, can't do so as Martin keeps it in. And now finally Emerson's able to keep it out, and Zizek trying to jump on that puck, can't quite do so as it's back for Vance in his own end. Karik and Barley on the forecheck for Fredonia, but Carter Allen's able to enter the zone and fire a cross-ice dump in for Tommy Martin to pick up in his own end. Gillespie, one of the forecheckers there, holds up at around the point as he lets Broman get to work, and now Gillespie here on the far side tries to keep some pressure on. And now back the other way comes Fredonia, 2-on-3. With it now entering the zone, Kalu with it now, looking for a shot, blocked in front, rebound bouncing behind the net of Riche, who's been out there for the entire game. Looks like we might not see Cedric Hansen after all, with just about 10.5 minutes remaining. Lakers with a 2-1 lead. So that game-winning goal so far is held right now by Anthony Pissarro, who netted the third and final goal so far. As back the other way comes Demakopoulos. Demakopoulos on Zyzek battling as Zyzek shrugs him off, and he'll try to chip it around the boards to the near side. No one home for the Lakers. 10 minutes left to go. Lakers again with a 2-1 lead here on WTOP 10 as Josh Zyzek tries to chip it out. Can't quite do so as Demakopoulos is able to keep it in. Zyzek behind his own net, trying to battle. Again, great forecheck by the Fredonia Blue Devils as the net comes off its moorings for a moment. It looks like we're going to get a penalty call here as the back referee blows the whistle dead.
And as we look around the SUNYAC, a 6-4 lead right now for Geneseo. Brockport hanging around. They're on the power play as well. And as we look to Plattsburgh, they've now built a 4-1 lead over Morrisville with just 9 minutes remaining. So if Plattsburgh State can win and this score holds on, it'll be the two North Country teams, Plattsburgh and Potsdam, would clinch a SUNYAC playoff berth. So things getting very interesting here around the SUNYAC. And of course, if Plattsburgh State comes away with that win, they would stay in that 5 spot, and they'd probably be taking on Brockport if Brockport falls to Geneseo. They trail by 2 right now.
And again, for both Fredonia and Plattsburgh, teams that kind of started not the best in terms of their starts. We talked about Fredonia, but even for Plattsburgh, they didn't win in their first 2 weekends of SUNYAC play. They're trying to battle back in for a playoff spot, as are Fredonia, who has a power play now after the Josh Zyzek penalty. Victor Tracy with it now in the offensive zone, trying to settle things down here with 9:30 left to go in this final frame. Might be the best chance for Fredonia to tie it up here. Manley at center point, hesitates, gets over a Karik and Parlay. Center point, Manley fires a shot and it hits his own teammate up high. But quick to get up was, and that looked like it was Jacob Haynes, so quick to get up was Haynes after taking a heavy shot from Manley up high.
Yeah, that one came right into the mask of Haynes, and he's slow to get off the ice. A really scary play there, and that's definitely something to keep an eye on, of course, for the health of Haynes, and also he is the best player on this Fredonia team.
Again, Lakers and trying to escape the zone, Mac Lewis. He's got Novik with them as well.
Yeah, I really like Novik here battling down there in that corner as you see Tyler Curry jumping in there as well. And Curry's really become quite well-rounded on both the power play and the penalty kill units.
And he's done a great job as Curry here ties up his man back to the point for Fredonia. Cross for Tommy Martin looking for a shot. Instead, he passes it back across for Gamache. Martin now. One-timer shot, save, rebound out in front, can't find it. It looks like it's caught in Curry's pads. It's the referees blow the whistle dead, and now the Lakers get a line change, and they're also kind of tapping their sticks on the ice.
Yeah, it looked like the puck got stuck there in the legs of Tyler Curry.
Right, with this stoppage play, we'll send it to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross.
The hit was from...
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties here. And back the other way with it now is Fredonia. Manley with now shot. With it now is Fredonia as they try to generate some offense here again. 25 seconds remaining. And now it's Manley at the point. Slowing things down is Fredonia. Back to Manley at center point. Not real shooting out there, so he looks to pass. Shot by Tracy, just goes wide. And now Manley chips over his stick.
Yeah, and that's a really unfortunate error there by Manley as he was unable to control the puck in the zone, and that would have been a good opportunity as Fredonia looks like their power play is going to expire, and their Vance almost got a tripping call, and now Carter Allen ripped down. So we'll see if Oswego State can kind of grab some more momentum and try to extend this 1-goal lead to 2 as they have a rush going the other way.
Spink 1-on-2. He's got Pissarro with him as well. Spink holds up, waiting for more Lakers to get on, but a sloppy pass intercepted by Fredonia, and they'll go the other way. Max Blitz has pocket picked by Pissarro, and they're blowing it offside, and I don't know about that call, Luke.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. The puck kind of got stuck on the blue line. I thought it stayed in there.
And now we'll finally get it tossed down to our ringside reporter, Mike Gross. Mike, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Well, we saw there the big hit on Matt Litmansky. It was Carter Allen, and it was a devastating hit. Never saw it coming, but we did see him get stretchered off the ice. And, well, what I saw from my view, and I'm standing right next to him when he got off the ice, and he answered a couple questions. He was conscious, he was awake, but we don't know what the injury was. We can't speculate anything, but if there's something confirmed, we will let you guys know. Back to you up in the press box.
Thank you, Mike. Again, had a good angle of the aftermath of that awful hit, but again, back the other way come the Lakers as Scorpio's knocked into pretty hard. Had his head down as Max Blitz went through him, but Scorpio bounced right back up onto the bench.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been a high hit there as the mask of Scorpio kind of came off, but again, no call there, so referees allowing these big plays to go.
Gillespie knocks down Demakopoulos. But Fredonia still comes away with it, at least momentarily, as Isaac has to fire it back in and go on for the forecheck. Gillespie trying to knock a pass, but instead it's kept alive by Fredonia as Broman almost knocks his man off the puck. That's Tommy Martin, who can finally get it into the Oswego State end, but not past the skates of Max Novick.
Yeah, it really seems like these last 5 minutes, no one really taking advantage.
Gillespie one-on-one, has a chance. He's got Broman streaking down. Pass across, and just missing the net was Max Novick. The rebound out in front, covered up by Rosen, as there's some pushing and shoving commencing from our vantage points. Looks like it's Ethan Kirby as well as Mike Gillespie, excuse me.
Yeah, and that's actually Max Blitz. It looked like that shoved Gillespie after the play, and it looks like we might get some coincidental penalties. No, it looks like Blitz is just going to go back to his own bench, but not before giving a little chirp towards Michael Gillespie.
And again, on that initial sequence, that 2-on-1 play, I love the opportunity, and Novick looking up to the sky after he misses that opportunity. But again, you saw Broman follow up at the net, stopping at the net rather than kind of following through behind the net. And that's kind of the heady hockey play you like to see from Broman, staying in front of the net and getting a chance at those second and third opportunities.
And it was a great play by Gillespie to just wade in there and wait for Novick and Broman to cut down low. So a really great cross-ice, cross-net pass there by Gillespie.
Isaac with it now off the neutral zone or the offensive zone draw. Slowing things down for Antonucci. Shot tipped in front by Broman, but still goes wide as Gillespie tucks it back in behind the net for Broman. Gamache battling with him. He had the puck just for a moment, but Fredonia just able to exit the zone as they shank a pass, and now it gets around Novick. Back down low is Kalu at the goal line, bodied by Antonucci. Riche makes the easy save, and Zais will have to chip it up and out with just about 5.5 minutes, or 5:50, I should say, remaining in the third period. Again, Lakers nursing a 1-goal lead off the stick of Anthony Pissarro on the power play, as it's Molinaro, dumping it in for Tommy Martin to chase.
Yeah, and it looks like Riche is just probably going to ride this game out. Obviously, it's his game to win or lose at this point on senior night, and of course, Pissarro, the game-winning goal if this score stands.
Yeah, so a pair of seniors playing some big roles as Sullivan picks it up, heads towards the net for a chance, and Molinaro on the backhand couldn't quite get his stick on that. A good job by Max Blitz. Molinaro with a shot from the point, just goes wide. Looked like it might have been deflected out in front. Shot again from the point, just goes wide once more as Carter Allen tried to jump in on the pinch. Mac Lewis still there as well as Jody Sullivan picks it up. Back for Vance at the point, hesitates, fakes the shot, fires one again, and Rosen makes the glove save and then pounces on the rebound with 5:05 remaining. And Luke, this is a kid in Rosen who's a senior, and he's been so impressive this season especially. He only played a handful of games heading into this year, maybe about 20, 25, but this season he's been nothing but stellar.
Yeah, he has been, of course, entering today with a .920 save percentage, which is really stellar considering he faces a decent bit of shots each and every game for this Fredonia defense. So, I mean, allowing 33 shots a game, Rosen's really stood tall, and he's been great tonight.
Yeah, and puck was on the net for a moment, but Fredonia able to escape and try to just clear it down to the neutral zone as Vance picks it up and has to play it over for his defensive partner, Carter Allen. Spink with it now on the far side, trying to make a move past Hugo Gamache. Can't quite do so, but he barrels down behind the net. Derek Brown knocked down, no call there. Maybe could have had a trip or a hold, but nonetheless, the referee's playing on. Derek Brown firing it back around for Spink. Spink couldn't quite corral that one, so now he's got a battle with another defender for Fredonia on the near side corner boards. Looks to be Charlie Manley, one of the captains of this Fredonia squad. He's been really impressive all game long, showcasing that heavy shot that he has, the transfer from Division I RPI. Tracy trying for a chance. Vance picks it up and looks to flip the script the other way. Vance can't quite corral as there's a pair of back checkers on him. Jacob Haynes there, and now Tracy's kind of getting in the way of Vance as the Fredonia Blue Devils was trying to go for a line change.
Yeah, and Tracy arguing that he was kind of just trying to get off the ice there as he ran into Vance. But Vance had a good opportunity for a cross-ice pass to Mitch Emerson, but he wasn't able to get his eyes up because Haynes came over and gave a good check to prevent that cross-ice pass.
Pissarro with it now behind the net. He's hit lightly by Karikan Barley. Karikan Barley battling with Martin. Comes away with it and now sends it down the length of the ice for it'll appear to be an icing here with 3:40 left remaining. Oswego State trying to generate some offensive zone pressure as now Rosen on the other side of the ice is still sitting in the butterfly, maybe trying to stretch out his legs or something here as he's slow to get to his feet.
Yeah, he is slow to get up, and they'll need him for another probably 2 minutes at least before they think to pull him, of course, trailing by a goal late in this third period, and he has been stellar and kind of battled through a couple injuries, so the senior really showing some heart because this could be his last game as a Blue Devil.
Well, shot and a chance for the Lakers and no goal there. There's a shot off the face-off, hits the skate in the post of Rosen, and a second time he almost lost the puck.
Yeah, and Rosen, a great job there, making the save and then just laying down on the puck. And a great job by Rosen, and that was kind of a weird play off the face-off. I think actually that shot might have been taken by a Fredonia Blue Devil. We'll have to take a look at the replay, but look at this play off the faceoff right here, Matt. It's a slap shot by his own player. And then Rosen has to lay down on it. And that's a really heads-up play by Rosen because that was a shot that came from his own teammate. You're not expecting that, but you never know what you're going to see on senior night here in MCC.
Hands knocked down by his defensive counterpart in Tyler Curry. There's just a couple of scoring notes for you guys around the SUNYAC. Brockport defeated by Geneseo, so they'll drop to the 4 seed. As now Passero and Emerson have a chance. 2-0. Emerson with a shot, and what a save by Rosen again. Oh my goodness, Emerson didn't get a lot on it, but Rosen on his belly makes the stop.
Yeah, Rosen is really giving it all here. Had to make a save against his own teammate, and then that time, a great 2-on-1. You see the replay here. Great job by the Lakers passing to get past Manley, and a great shot fired, but an even better save by Rosen, and he's looked good. Really in every situation, high shots, low shots, moving post to post. He has done it all for this Fredonia squad.
And on the other SUNYAC game in action right now, Plattsburgh up 5-1 on Morrisville. As a chance for Zizek on the backdoor pass, or the behind the back pass from Gillespie. Again, Rosen saying no, and with 3 minutes left, he's made quite a bit of critical saves here so far in the last couple shifts.
Yeah, he has, and of course Plattsburgh stayed about a minute and a half away from clinching a SUNYAC playoff berth, so who would have thought that that young Plattsburgh team would make this run?
Broman with it now 3-on-1. He's got Zizek and Gillespie. Broman at the circle, back across for Zizek, and he scores! Josh Zizek, and the Lakers take a 3-1 lead.
And that's exactly what this crowd wanted. They are going absolutely crazy because their captain, the senior, Josh Zizek, on senior night, he's amped up as he enters the handshake line. A great pass from Travis Broman, and the crowd is going crazy because their captain, as I said, Josh Zizek, in his senior day. Look at the hustle from Zizek to get there, and then the pass from Broman. Easy stuff in there from Josh Zizek as he is able to kind of stand there and bask in the moment. What a pass from Travis Broman to wrap around it. Josh Zizek hammers it home.
Yeah, I thought the pass was a step late as you saw the lone defender for Fredonia down onto the ice. Trips up Broman, but Broman makes a good play using those long arms and that longer stick to reach around the defender, just get the pass across. You saw Gillespie in the slot with a chance. And now with the stopping play, we'll send to our ringside man, Mike Gross.
Thank you, guys. Well, what a breakaway goal to put the icing on the cake and the cherry on top. The captain, Josh Zizek, getting that goal off of Broman. And, well, that just pretty much tells the story for Fredonia. But I'm surprised now we're not going to see Cedric Hansen in that. Now, I've said this twice, maybe 3 times already tonight. But I know that Coach Gosek had talked to WNYO prior to the game and said, we're going to look to get Cedric Hansen some minutes, but we're not seeing him yet. Hopefully we do, because it'll be good to see him on his final senior night. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mike. And while we might not see Hansen, we'll see a different goaltender this time for Fredonia. It's Ryan Pasquarello entering the net in favor of Anton Rosen. Looks like he might have been nursing that injury we saw in, I believe, the first period or the second period when he made a save, and you kind of saw it there re-aggravated after he had to make a couple of long stretches and laying down into the butterfly. Again, that kind of groin region really takes that much pressure when you drop into that butterfly.
Yeah, and the senior really gave it his all tonight in net for the Blue Devils. A really great performance by Anton Rosen. Lakers looking for more.
Gillespie with it now. He's got Broman as well. Gillespie holds Zizek with his chance and just missing. And a great save by Pasquarello as he's able to enter the zone, or rather enter the game, I should say. His first look on the action. It was a great A chance for the Lakers.
Yeah, and Snyder, it's going to be, looks like a penalty going here as the referees will talk it over. But Pasquarello, a guy that's not unfamiliar to the Lakers. In the first matchup, he came in the third period after Rosen was pulled, and he made 12 of 13 saves. So a guy that's had some success, and we saw it there, a really good save, kind of using the skate there, the toe, to make the save. And a penalty going against the Lakers. They do not look too happy about this call. And for Fredonia, trailing by 2, not a lot of time left. They're going to pull the goaltender. They're going to go 6 skaters to start this power play. So we'll see how the Lakers counter, of course, with just 4 skaters.
Yeah, and of course, that's Gillespie in the penalty box for the Lakers. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to go, and Pasquarello doesn't really see much action, or maybe 5-10 seconds of play, as it looks like the Lakers are about to call a timeout, excuse me. You see, it looks like it's McMillan or Curry calling for it, but instead the referees will finally go to the score box and get the timeout for the Lakers.
Yeah, it looked like Coach Whitelaw maybe wanted to call a timeout, and we'll see if maybe that's a move to pull David Riche, as we see the linesmen kind of waiting, and we'll see if they're going to call a timeout or if they'll just play, and we're just going to play hockey.
Yeah, it looked like the Lakers bench was calling for one, but they didn't get the timeout in time, as now Emerson has to take the draw with Vance. Looks like it's Carter Allen there as well, and Spink, the other skater for the Lakers on this penalty kill. A crucial one at that with 2 minutes to go. You're nursing a 2-goal lead as Victor Tracy has it now. Again, empty net there, so it's 6-on-4. Now for Manley. Manley at this point, shot off the post. Looked like Riche made the initial save. Back around for Tariq and Barley. Down low, play the Fredonia Blue Devils. Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called by Gillespie as Manley has it. At the point, Manley slowing things down, plays catch with Tariq and Barley back down low, looking for a chance. Now it's back to the circle, hesitating. Back to Manley, looking for a shot. Shot from the point, and Victor Tracy at the circle wires it around the net. Back around for Tariq and Barley. At the near side circle, slowing things down. Shot, saved by Riche, the rebound out in front, loose. Lakers fire it down the length of the ice, and it just misses the net. The chance for Mitch Emerson had a goal in the second period, whistle dead, and now we've got a penalty coming to what looks to be Fredonia for a slash, and that'll negate the rest of their power play.
Yeah, and that's a really costly penalty. It's going against Tyler Ritter, the top line center for Fredonia, as he heads to the box, and now we go back to normal hockey here, and we'll see what the Lakers do. I think they'll keep Riche in net, and honestly, that's kind of poetic that they'll let David Riche ride it out here in his senior day. Yeah, it certainly is, and for Hansen, only played 5 games this season. He's been a stellar backup for them all couple of years, both of them kind of coming in around the same time. And when you remember looking back to last year, the two of them were rock solid in net. Maybe a bit of not controversy, as it looks like it's Riche going to the bench just for a timeout here.
Timeout taken by Fredonia, so you'd think that's just obviously a strategic move. David Riche is going to stay in this game, as Cedric Hansen now talking it over with Riche. We've got 1:10 to go in this game, and we're going to stay. We'll see if Fredonia, they're going to return the goaltender to the net, obviously with the faceoff being down in their own end.
And again, 1:10 left to go in this game. After that, you'll stay tuned for the senior night celebration. 13 seniors honored here for the Lakers, and before that, we'll have a little bit of a pre-senior night ceremony hosted by Ben Kinney, the guys over there for the intermission and post-game report. And of course, for Cedric Hansen coming into the game today, he's got an .819 save percentage, which is almost unfair to see. He hasn't played a lot of minutes this season, and when he has, he's played some really, really good teams.
Yeah, and he's a guy we'll talk about a little bit maybe after the game, but he's a guy in him and also David Riche, but just been ultimate professionals in the goalie room. Obviously, neither of them envisioned their senior years ending up with Stephen Kazakowski in net, but they've just been so supportive, and they've really been great mentors for Kazakowski.
Yeah, and just talking to Kazakowski earlier this week, he was saying, you know, this is one of the best goalie partnerships we've ever had, I've ever been a part of, saying that we're all close, we're trying to be better as a group, not just an individual. I think that talks about not only the class of those two senior goaltenders, but also the program and the culture that Ed Gosick and these seniors have helped build over their last 4 seasons, of course, over Gosick's 17 seasons now. 1 minute left here in the senior night. Lakers with a 2-goal lead, playing 5-on-4, as it would be 4-on-4, but Pasquarello was pulled for Fredonia's net. Behind the net come the Blue Devils. Back across, looking for a chance, and skips over the stick of Tariq and Barley down the length of the ice into the Fredonia end.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the dagger for Fredonia. It would take a miracle now, just 35 seconds to go, and that's just kind of sums up Fredonia's night tonight. Just too many unforced errors, and that time they tripped themselves up.
Sullivan chips it out, and Zizek decides not to chase, as it might go to the length of the ice, but it doesn't, as Manley has to pick it up. And with 25 seconds left, again, Luke, needing 2 goals, Fredonia's season might come to an end again here.
Yeah, and it was a great battle, obviously, for them down the stretch. Just didn't start the season strong enough, but for Fredonia, some positives for next year.
Cross-ice pass, looking for the net was Tyler Curry, and a chance for Zizek. He's in all alone, and he tucks it home. Josh Zizek nets his second of his senior night.
And what a play that time for the Lakers, just sending it the length of the ice, knowing that Captain Josh Zizek had one more run in him, and what a great cross-ice pass that time. I believe it was Tyler Curry that kind of just sent it the length of the ice, bounce it off the back. We'll see on the replay here, just firing at the length of the ice, and coming in is Josh Zizek to hammer that one home for the Lakers. And what a play that time, as Zizek gets the goal, and I believe that was Tyler Curry making that length of the ice pass.
And a brilliant play by Curry. I was sitting here thinking, oh no, like you're taking icing for it, but again, you saw the defense and the skaters for Fredonia really in deep in the Oswego State end. You see Zizek able to just skate so fast, getting all the way down the length of the ice and tucking it home. 4-1 Lakers, and with 6 seconds left, that'll do it. Lakers win on senior night by a score of 4-1.
Yeah, and a great win here by the Lakers. It ends up being a 3-goal win, which of course is big here on senior night. And hugs all around for David Riche. Only allows 1 goal on the night. And a great job by him in his senior night. As you see Cedric Hansen also in there, of course, a big part of the celebration for the senior class. And it was a game that didn't really mean much in terms of standings, but you could tell the game meant a lot for the Lakers. And Captain Josh Zizek, to me, he's got to be the first star of this game. 2 goals for the Lakers.
Yeah, and it looks like it's Max Blitz. He's on the other side of the ice. He's another senior for this Fredonia squad on the other hand, and you saw him taking a knee just out inside the red line, being hugged or held by some of his teammates, as that's his last game in a Fredonia Blue Devils sweater.
Yeah, so obviously for Fredonia, a tough one for their seniors. For Oswego State, obviously another chance next weekend as Plattsburgh State finishes up beating Morrisville. Plattsburgh will clinch a playoff spot, which is big obviously for the North Country, and that means that it will be Plattsburgh and Potsdam, the North Country teams, clinching, and we'll see if probably one of those teams would not be heading to MCC barring an upset in the first round, as Geneseo will be facing the worst remaining team after Wednesday night.
Right, and Luke, with this senior night approaching, before we throw it over to Ben Kinney and the rest of the guys at the perch, talk about this senior class. You know, this season we've been really not lucky, but fortunate to be able to talk to them a couple times. Just one thing from your end, what's kind of your favorite personal anecdote talking about this senior class?
Yeah, really one of my favorite seniors this year was the guy in net, David Riche. He was just always so nice, so easy to talk to in terms of media. And then obviously guys like Josh Zizek, guys like Anthony Pissarro, really ultimate captains, ultimate leaders for the Lakers. And for obviously Anthony Pissarro, a guy that transferred here, and then, you know, Mike Gillespie, Mitch Emerson, Jody Sullivan, Joseph Molinaro, Joey Scorpio, Derek Brown. The list goes on and on. So just so many seniors that were great for this Lakers team.
And Whitelaw just speaking so great and talking about these guys so highly, saying that they've had this tradition, they've helped us carry on this tradition. With that, that's about all it'll do for Luke Owens. I'm Matt Watling. Now we'll send it over to the perch for the...
All right, thanks, guys. And welcome back in, and a great game for Oswego. Big third period, both sides. Let's take a look back at this game. First thing we're going to watch is the first goal by Fredonia. Take me through this. Or excuse me, all the Fredonia goals, rather. Take me through this.
Yeah, right off the bat here, you're going to see that big save coming up from Rosen. Rosen had a good game in net tonight. A lot of saves from him. Pissarro was robbed there. But overall, I thought Oswego did good in the fact that they got those 2 goals in the third period, put him on top here. But Rosen had a good game. He did get pulled after that third goal, but I think he had an outstanding night in that.
Do you think that he was pulled because he was showing some signs of injury?
Yeah, I would say so. I definitely saw that after the third goal. You could see him stretching eventually before that goal. So there's definitely something wrong with him, I would say, towards the end of that third period.
Let's take a look at the Oswego goals from tonight. Nick, walk me through these.
Well, starting things off here, nice pass from Joey Molinaro, and just a great shot there. And the Lakers getting on the board there with that goal. And as you see, just a nice pass in the slot. You had Anthony Pissarro inside there. I believe that was the first goal. The Lakers did a great job of just rushing down the ice, doing very good in transition. Anthony Pissarro, again, just up top, not where he's usually at on the ice, but just a great way to finish on the one-timer here. As a senior on this team, getting on the board, that's got to feel good for Anthony Pissarro. And then you see the Lakers again here in transition on the break. A nice hold and then pass to Josh Zizek, the captain, from Travis Broman. A great setup there from Broman, and as you see it again, Zizek just in great position. Rosen really didn't have a chance to stop that one. Then Curry launching it down the ice, and the captain, Josh Zizek, finishes there and just soaks in the moment. Getting 2 goals in this one for the senior captain. It couldn't go better.
Yeah. All right. I do believe here momentarily we are going to be sending it down to the senior night ceremony in just a moment. But before that, let's take a look at this game summary here for tonight. How do you think the Lakers performed tonight?
Well, we saw 44 shots on goal compared to the 15 for Fredonia. It was a good job by Oswego of getting in front of some blocked shots and keeping Fredonia out of their zone. Both teams went 0 for 4 on the power play. That's something I would like Oswego to definitely improve on. going into these playoff games. And then, of course, face-offs, 32-26. Fredonia tried crawling back there towards the end. But if you're Oswego, definitely need to work on the power play. Then you also need to stay out of the box heading into the semifinal game next weekend.
All right. Now, we are going to go to a break. When we return, we're going to have the senior night ceremony for you right here on Hockey Night in Oswego on WTOP. And welcome back into WTOP's coverage. We are standing by for the senior night ceremony here. So you can see the video behind us. They're going through each senior, all 13 of them tonight, honoring all of them. And how important is this game tonight?
It's a great morale booster for the Lakers heading into playoff time. We've seen the Lakers struggle here and there throughout this season, losing 8 games early in the season, but they're getting good morale out of this.
And we're not only talking about hockey seniors, we're talking about seniors here at WTOP. We have a full screen here. You see them there, and one name they're missing is you, Nick Ketter. They forgot you, and I told you I'd come through for you. Nick Ketter as well, but all these great folks down in the control, many of whom are down in the control room tonight, and Tara and Dan Corlett, you folks don't get to see behind the scenes, but all these folks on this screen are what helped to make this broadcast possible. We wouldn't have WTOP without them.
Of course.
So we have to thank them, us underclassmen, except for you, Nick, because you're a senior. We're gonna send it down to the senior ceremony. We'll be back.
With number 5, Charlie Pelnick. Charlie is being accompanied tonight by his mother, Linda, father, Chris, grandmother, Carol, and grandfather, Tom. Hailing from Cary, North Carolina, Charlie has dressed in 48 career games for the Lakers, recording 1 goal and 4 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Pelnick. Next, wearing number 6, Tyler Curry. Tyler is being accompanied tonight by mother Christine, father Peter, sister Katie, grandfather Bob, grandmother Jeanette, and girlfriend Emery. The Caledon, Ontario native has dressed in 77 career games for the Lakers, recording 5 goals and 28 assists. Recognized once on the SUNYAC Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll, Tyler was also named to the 2018-2019 All-SUNYAC Conference second team. Let's hear it again for Tyler Curry. Up next, wearing number 8, Derek Brown. Derek is being accompanied tonight by mother Tracy, father Doug, and brother Drake. The Peoria, Arizona native has appeared in 45 career games for the Lakers, recording 6 goals and 16 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Brown. Up next, wearing number 9, Mitch Emerson. Mitch is being accompanied tonight by mother Wendy, father Stuart, grandfather John, grandmother Jean, grandmother partner Frank, sister Emily and her boyfriend Nick, as well as girlfriend Jessica. Hailing from Pickering, Ontario, Canada, Mitch has appeared in 95 career games for the Lakers, tallying 22 goals and 18 assists. Mitch has been recognized 3 times on the SUNYAC Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Emerson. Up next, wearing number 15, Joey Scorpio. Joey is accompanied tonight by mother Roseanne, father Ralph, brother Mike and Ralph, as well as sister Maureen, his grandfather Joe, grandmother Terry, and girlfriend Stephanie. The Elmwood Park native has dressed in 64 career games for the Lakers, tallying 7 goals and 10 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for Joey Scorpio. Up next, wearing number 16, Michael Gillespie. Michael is being accompanied tonight by mother Diane, father Peter, sister Danielle, grandmother Marie, and his girlfriend Taylor. The New City, New York native has dressed in 72 games for the Lakers, recording 23 goals and 48 assists. Michael has been named twice to the All-SUNYAC Conference third team. Once again, number 16, Michael Gillespie. Up next, wearing number 19, Joey Molinaro. Joey is accompanied tonight by mother Julie and father Vince, as well as sister Alessa, girlfriend Serena, uncle Claudio, aunt Rosemary, and cousin Michael. The Mississauga, Ontario native has played in 73 career games for the Lakers, recording 25 goals and 29 assists. In 2017-2018, Joey was recognized on the SUNYAC Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. Let's hear it once again for Joey Molinaro. Up next, number 22, Chris McMillan. Chris is accompanied tonight by mother Cindy, stepfather Grover, girlfriend Jacqueline, and uncle Hayden. Hailing from Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, Chris has played in 75 career games for the Lakers, tallying 3 goals and 15 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, number 22, Chris McMillan. Up next, wearing number 30, Cedric Hansen. Cedric is accompanied tonight by mother Mireille, father Ed, sister Catherine, and girlfriend Carolina. The Ottawa, Ontario native has appeared in 21 career games for the Lakers, posting 12 wins, a goals against average of 2.19, and a save percentage of .897. Cedric has been recognized 3 times on the SUNYAC Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, number 30, Cedric Hansen. Up next, number 31, David Riche. David is being accompanied tonight by mother Della, father Alan, sister Tanya, and girlfriend Gabrielle. The Mirabel, Quebec native has appeared in 57 career games for the Lakers, posting 34 wins, a goals against average of 1.99, and a save percentage of .916. David has been recognized twice on the SUNYAC Commissioner's Academic Honor Roll. He was also named to the 2017-2018 All-SUNYAC Conference second team. Ladies and gentlemen, David Riche. Up next, number 4, Anthony Passero. Anthony is accompanied tonight by mother Cheryl, sister Megan, and niece Delaney. Hailing from Fort Erie, Ontario, Anthony has appeared in 50 career games for the Lakers, tallying 15 goals and 39 assists. During his career, Anthony has been named to both the All-SUNYAC Conference first and third team. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Passero. Up next, number 14, Jody Sullivan. Jody is being accompanied tonight by mother Kelly, sister Courtney, brother Ryan, and sister Carly. The Cardinal, Ontario, Canada native has appeared in 88 career games for the Lakers, posting 20 goals and 11 assists. Let's hear it one more time for Jody Sullivan. Up next, wearing number 13, Josh Zizek. Josh is accompanied tonight by mother Laura, father Casey, and brother Jordan. The St. Catharines, Ontario native has appeared in 86 career games for the Lakers, scoring 38 times and assisting 43 goals. In 2017-2018, Josh was named to the All-Suniac Conference first team. Ladies and gentlemen, number 13, Josh Zizek. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your class of 2020 with the Oswego State Lakers. And a reminder, we will be back in action next Saturday, 7 o'clock for the Suniac semifinals against an opponent to be determined on Wednesday evening.
Look at us.
And welcome back into the post-game report here on Hockey Night in Oswego, WTOP, and a great senior night ceremony there, honoring the 13 seniors who will be graduating in just a few months. What senior day? I mean, what big day.
Well, it was a great game for all these guys. It was great to see some of the seniors get on the board. Molinaro with an assist, Curry with 2 assists. Anthony Pissarro getting a goal, Isaac with 2. Jody Sullivan had a great game as well, doing things off the puck.
David Roche had a great time in that too. And if you're a senior, this is a big day for you. A lot of memories to be had, especially if you're a goal scorer like Zizek. It's a great turnout. And now you focus in on the fact that you'll be playing an opponent next Saturday right back in your own barn. So definitely a good night if you're a Laker.
And that's going to be a really good matchup, I do believe. Now that Fredonia has lost, they are now out of contention. This was their last game. In order to get into playoff contention, they needed a win. So who are we looking at possibly facing next Saturday?
Well, obviously Plattsburgh and Potsdam, I believe they're still in the mix. If we take a look back at the seniors in this game, that will have to come up big in that in that game on Saturday. Anthony Pissarro, you got Mitch Emerson, David Richer, as you said, had a big game. Tyler Curry, 2 assists. Chris McMillan on defense. Joey Scorpio is good as well in this one. Just a great game from these seniors overall. They've meant a lot to this team.
All right, so next week we will be back here next Saturday night. An opponent that will be announced probably by the end of tonight, end of this week after Wednesday with the quarterfinal games. And we'll be right here on WTOP. We'll see you then. For Nick Ketter, and Zach Case, I'm Ben Kinney. Good night.